Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Global GEG's Bootcamp to become a Google certified educator. Today is level one. So exciting. We are so excited to be here with you and serve as your host. I am Dr. Shan and
I am Jared Johnson.
And we are here today to help guide you, have some fun with you, and just be in the beginning of your Google certified educator journey. So, just a little bit about me. I am Dr. Chantel Scott. I have been an educator for 18 years, teaching in grades 7 through 12. I am also an educational consultant and a Google certified level 1, level 2. I'm a certified trainer. And as you can see on my shirt here, I'm also a Google innovator.
And I'm Jared. I am a digital learning coach in Lexington, South Carolina. I've also been a high school social studies teacher. And so Google has been instrumental in my teaching career. You know, I started off as a level 1 and level 2 educator. And as I always tell people, it's kind of like a gateway drug because level 1, level 2 then leads to trainer, which could lead to innovator and lead to coach, which is what I have done. I've gotten all of those, and it is a spectacular, awesome journey. So we are excited that you guys are all here with us. As we welcome you on your journey through the Google Certified Educator.
You know what, Jared? You know what also is a gateway drug? This coffee. So no matter what time of day it is, we invite you to get your coffee, or water. I also have water here. Whatever it is that you need to do to stay fueled. Okay, so
that's right. Because no matter where you are in the world, you got to have coffee. Or at least something with caffeine, right? Tea,
right.
Whatever it might be. All right. So who are we? So maybe this is your first time at a GEG event. Here at Global GEG, we are a team of volunteer educators from around the world. That's what the coolest thing about this GEG is. We are educators from around the world that are here to empower, to inspire other teachers, educational institutions, and other communities to really take teaching and learning to the next level. Now, what you may not realize too is you may also have a local GEG in your state, country, wherever you might be. And so Google Educator Groups, the purpose of them is to bring local educators together in person and online to provide a forum to share, collaborate, and support each other using technology in impactful ways with students. And so you can go to that bit.ly link down there on the presentation. You don't have to do it right now. You can also Google it, and you can go and find your local GEG, and you can become a member, an active participant in those GEGs, along with Global, of course. And we encourage you to do so. And if you do not see one, for your area, there is a link on the page that tells you how you can start your own. So if that is something, a need that you see within your community, I would definitely encourage you to start one up, and we are all here to help support you with that journey as well. All right. So the great thing about GEGs is building your professional learning network. And so I have become a huge believer in professional learning networks. Everybody in Global GEG has become part of that PLN, and many of them have become really good friends because of it. So we encourage you to build your PLN. So if you're on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you can find other educational leaders, other resources out there that you can participate, like, follow, to build your PLN, to get some great ideas, to help you solve problems, to share, and to just become really good friends with people that are out there in the world.
All right, so we have a full there's so much to learn today, from Chrome, Google Drive, Gmail, Calendar, Docs, Slides, and don't worry, there will be a question answer at the end, just in case you have some pending questions. There's What's great about today is that you don't have to worry. You can watch, follow along if you'd like, but everything will be available to you when this is all over. So our main goal today is to really get you to be aware of all of the things that these Google Workspace items can do, so that you can be more prepared for your Google Educator Level 1 exam. So you might be saying to yourself, why do I need to take the Google Level 1 Educator exam? Well, number one, it is all about gaining confidence with digital learning strategies and Google Workspace tools. So today we are here to help you build confidence so that when you open up Chrome, Drive, Gmail, Calendar, Docs, and Slides, that you actually feel confident to use these tools to improve your digital learning strategies. Two, we want you to be able to inspire student learning through the use of these tools. So again, we are here to help you gain confidence, to help you inspire students, and obviously to improve your skills as well. Plus, who doesn't love a badge? And as Jared said, we want you to join the Google Certified Educator family. We love it here. I know that I love it here. We want you to be one of our family too.
Exactly. And it is a great family. It's a great resource for everything you could ever need. A question you may have, issues you may have, the people that you are going to see over these next few days for level 1 and then level 2. These are people who are at the top of their game and people that you can rely on. They'll share their Twitter handles. You can reach out to them. So when you're ready to take that exam, if you still have a question, you can refer back to these videos because they're recorded. But you can also reach out to the people that are presenting to help you answer those questions. And it's great, isn't it? Like, we really are a family. Like,
we are a family. Absolutely.
We know we can call on anybody. And plus, too, who doesn't like a badge? I know.
What? Who doesn't love a badge? We're teachers. We love a sticker.
Exactly. And that's the cool thing, because you can put it in your email signature, right? You can, if you have a blog or a website, you can put it there. If you have a school website, definitely put it there as well. But one of the things that my teachers like in my building is they put it outside their doors under their nameplate.
That's an excellent idea.
And so that's a great way to show to everybody, hey, I have the skills, I have the understanding of Google's tools, and I'm ready to rock it with my students.
That's right.
Love it. Next slide. All right, so let's talk about having some fun. So what we want you to do is we want you to join the leaderboard. However, you do not have to do it right this very second, because we want you to be a part of the learning. We want you to be active participant today in learning. And so while the leaderboard is there, we want you to join it. And there's some great prizes and things that go along with that. We want you to be engaged in this. So don't think you have to go and do this right here, right now, but we're going to walk you through those steps. So after this is over, you can go back and revisit this and join the leaderboard. So the leaderboard, to go through some things, is we have secret codes. We're going to have challenges at the end of everybody's slide deck, and you're going to be able to view your activity. You're going to see where everybody is on the leaderboard. And so the way it works is you earn 10 points each when you're found on social media, or the 10 points each for the secret codes that are found on social media. I need more coffee.
Fuel up. Get that
Woo!
fuel in.
Um, the challenges are going to be 100 points each. So you can earn badges. You can complete the points by completing the challenge questions that you will see throughout these videos, throughout the boot camp. And so again, don't feel like you are in a hurry to put this in, okay? So you have a week to put in and submit the things that you need to submit. So don't feel like everything's got to be done like live during this video or even tomorrow on Sunday. You know, take your time. It will be there. You have a week to submit. Again, you can see how you're doing on the leaderboard. You can get a little competition if you recognize anybody on there. Like, I'm going to take down Dr. Shane. I'm going to take her down.
I'm pretty competitive, so watch it. I'm going to be looking for those codes on Twitter. Absolutely.
One of the cool things is the top 5 people can get a level 1 code to get the test paid for by Google. So we want to thank real quick Amanda and Google for Education for providing us with these codes that we can give out to our top 5 people on the leaderboards. I'm very excited about that.
Wow. We can get well, not me, of course, but so if they participate in this challenge, they can get the golden ticket.
They could get the golden. Oh, I like
that.
Oh
my goodness. That is some incentive.
Yes, it is. And isn't level 1 yellow anyway? So that's true. It's kind of a golden ticket, right? That's the color of the
ticket. Yes.
Yes. I like it. And so, and those of you that may not be familiar with taking the exam does cost money. It is $10 for level 1, and that you pay to Google. So we have nothing to do with that. That's something you have to do on your own when you are ready to take the assessment. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it's 7 days to complete it after you pay.
Right. Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
Try making sure I don't misspeak, but yes. But don't wait on that 7th day, because when that 7th day comes, you run the risk of, sorry, the thing is expired. So when you pay for it, try to get it done before that 7th day. But again, fantastic. And the top 5 people can get a code. All right. So I'm going to walk you through the Gameably. Am I pronouncing that right? Gameably.
Sounds good to me. Yes.
Website here. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. Ooh, there we go. All right. So you're going to go to app.gameably.com. Again, going to reiterate, you do not have to do this right now. So you can come back to this part later on today or later on in the week to come back to this. But it's a really simple process. So app.gameably.com. This is the website here. And you're going to click where it says, I have a code. And then just click continue. It says welcome. And you're going to put in the code that is on the level 1 boot camp slide deck that you just saw. And so you're going to put in the code, and I'm going to flip over to the other side because it does ask you to answer some questions. You're going to put in your name. You can put in your birthday here. So there, everybody knows what my birthday is. Make sure to send me a present. Then you can upload a picture, or you can just use your Google image. Purpose of what you're doing with this website, like I said, it's making you answer questions. So you can say education, professional development. You can decide to sign up for emails, and then business name or school name, that is optional. Then you're just going to click create count. Maybe.
It's spinning.
It's spinning. It's spinning.
It might need There we go.
All right. So there'll be some things you have to kind of click through, some pop-ups there. But then this takes you to the home screen once you're logged in. So the world that I live in, global level 1, is the world that we want to enter, which is the code that we will give you. And so right here is where you will go to submit the secret codes that you will see on our social media pages. where you can view the challenges and submit the challenges once you have completed them. Again, you have a week to do, so feel like you're not in a hurry to get this done, but we encourage you to definitely get it done. And so then it'll keep it up. And then on Global GEG's website, ooh,
That's me.
that is me and you. There we go. The leaderboard is actually linked down here so you can see. Maybe my internet's being slow. There we go. Well, maybe. Either way, it will. The leaderboard will be published there as well, so you can kind of keep an eye on things as we go along.
Can we just show the code to get into Gameably again?
Yes, let's throw back the slide again. There we go. There's the code right there.
Awesome.
So we'll give you a second if you want to write that down. But again, you can come back to this video and pull it up. But very, very excited. So we hope to see you guys on the leaderboard, and we cannot wait to celebrate your learning as you go through the leaderboard. So this is exciting to show what you know, to be competitive with other people. Like I said, I'm looking. I'm gonna take down some people. What do you think, Dr. Shan? Should we take down some of these people?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I might let them win though. Just kidding.
It's true.
You know what else is really exciting? That almost every region, I just saw someone post in the chat, around the world is represented on this boot camp today. How amazing is that? Look, the family is growing already. That is the beauty of becoming a Google certified educator. So get on this leaderboard, have some fun on there, and win a golden ticket. I found this little thing. I'm going to wave this for the golden ticket. Okay, win a golden ticket so that you can get that test paid for.
And we want to reiterate the tests, the secret codes will be found on Twitter. So they'll be found on Twitter. There were some questions I think came up in the chat. One of the other things too, just to kind of talk about the test. When we first took the test, Dr. Shan, do you remember when you first took the test, the level 1 test?
I do, yes. I recently had to recertify, so I have taken it very recently, yes.
And then how often do you have to recertify these days?
I believe it's every 36 months. I don't know if that will change. It was different in the past, but as of now, it was every 36 months. So there is, once you are a Google certified educator, you'll be that for a while.
That's right. That's right. So 3 years in between recertification for both level 1 and level 2. And so that's a good way to just kind of keep stuff up. They do remind you when it gets to be time, but sometimes it's good just to mark in your calendar 3 years from the date you take it, just to remind yourself to take it again, because a lot of things change. Google is always upgrading and changing and making their products a lot better every time. With the test, you do have to block off at least 3 hours to take the test. 3 hours to take the test. It may not take you that entire time, but it is a time test. So once you get in, it's going to take selfie shots of you to make sure that you are not cheating, right?
That's right. We're going to practice taking that selfie a little bit later today, so stay tuned.
Yes. But make sure you block off enough time to take the exam. Make sure that your computer is in good running condition. I know sometimes, I'm going to speak from experience, my school district, the way they have our computers set up, sometimes don't really cooperate very well with Google's software for the exam. So if you have a chance, definitely test it out, make sure that your computer works, that you have the ability to do that, and also make sure you have a backup computer is my big recommendation. because you never know. Like I said, I've had my computer just completely quit on me during the exam. I've had my district computer not work at all. It's just, you got to have backups.
So that's right. And one of the, sometimes Chrome might not work, right? Which is a great transition to our first session. But before we go there, if you are ready to gain confidence, get inspired, and improve your skills, say so in the chat. Tell us you're ready.
Who's ready? Who's ready? Come on. We want to see it.
We want to see it. Tell us you're ready right in the chat. So as you are joining us in this celebration, Google Chrome, first up, we have Stacy Klein and Stephanie Howell, who are going to, there they are. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Shan. Thank you, Jared. You guys are
thank you. That was such a fun intro.
Yeah.
Well, we are excited to see what
the timing is amazing.
All right, we are going to be talking about Google Chrome today, and I am Stephanie Howe, and if you want or have any questions, feel free to reach out to us on Twitter. Stacy, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Stacy Klein. I'm a Google certified trainer. I'm a teacher in the Santa Ana Unified School District and GEG SoCal co-founder, co-leader. And we are so excited to talk about our favorite Google app, at least for today.
Yeah, you need it to do everything else. All right, so what we're going to be talking about today is signing in, using the Omnibox, searching, bookmarks, the web store, different extensions, and then incognito mode. So let's go ahead and let's get started.
Woohoo! Yay. So you guys, to sign into your Chrome, this is really important to learn this trick. Steph has created a dummy account with her domain to walk you through this. But I can't emphasize enough how wonderful it is when you sign into your Chrome browser. And it's really easy. It's not like the old days where there were several different levels of signing in. And when you sign in, you sync the apps that you've installed or the Chrome extension. You save your passwords in there. It's totally secure. Just make sure that you log out when you get done with your session if it's not your own personal computer. And then the other thing it saves is all your bookmarks, so they all sync. So I'm sure Steph, like me, has 10,000 bookmarks, and they're all organized in folders and stuff, which we'll show you. But syncing is golden.
And I think too, with this account, for the exam, if you've never taken it, you are going to get a fake email. And you're like, what do I do with this email? You are going to use that email and you're going to sign in. So you're going to kind of follow these steps, everything. And I know it's crazy because when I first took this assessment, I was like, everything's in there. Mm-hmm. Everything is in there. And they'll like name documents. It's in there. So you're going to take that account, sign in with the username, the email address that they give you, and the password. And then I think you'll want to link your data. This will bring all the bookmarks over and anything that you might need.
You get the link data query when you're in a domain like for work. So Steph's in her training domain. That's why she's getting that. But when you want to make sure you do that, because otherwise you'll have different entities of you in your work domain.
Yeah, and so now we're all signed in. So that's pretty simple. You're going to either go to a new user. So adding profiles, you'll just add that person. You can do it a couple different ways. If you have Chrome downloaded, which I would suggest, go over here. You can add a person over here. You can add it over here. You can also add it in incognito, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yay.
And so then we have the Omnibox. The Omnibox is magic. So this is where you're able to use that Omnibox and you can search. You can do different tricks like math problems. So if I'm on my account and I type in like 2 + 2, oh, not W, I should get the answer 4. And I did. So a lot of really cool things can happen here if I type like roll the dice. It's going to allow me to roll a dice. So again, this is your search area, and you can search anything that you might need to find. Some really good tips too is you can search like your Google Drive. So I can type that in and it will take me to these different locations using this Omnibox. And a lot of people know about the Omnibox. It's the vocabulary of the Omnibox because they think it's like the search or something. But typically on that level 1 assessment, they call it the Omnibox. So if you see that word, you do know what it is. And it's just that search area.
Yeah, that's funny because everybody knows what an Omnibox does, but they didn't know what it was called. So it's like, what can you do in the Omnibox? It's more like, what can't you do? And you'll notice that Steph started in the traditional URL or address bar and then went down into the search bar, but they're both exactly the same. Another one that's our favorite is translations. So you just type translate translate meet from English to Spanish, and it comes right up. So anything you want to do, try it in there. And the other thing you can do in the Omnibox is if you do docs.new or sheets.new or slides.new, it'll start a new document in that app. It's very cool.
All right, and then up next, again, using that Omnibox, you can search almost anything. So make sure if there's something on the assessment, we're not telling you, but there is this little thing where you can open up a new tab and search with your Omnibox. So that could
and then Steph's favorite tool is, what time is it in any other part of the world?
Yes, time conversions. All right, you want to talk about bookmarking?
Oh, sure. So I'm getting to the same slide. Bookmark your favorite sites. This is one of our favorite tools because you don't just bookmark and it's all mishmash. We're both like hyper organized. Everything it has to be because you can access it much quicker. So everything's organized by bookmark and then by folder. Do you want to show them the folder?
Yeah. So I'm going to go over to globalgeg.org. And this is where you can find all the amazing sessions by Global. And I want to bookmark this because this is a website that I'm going to go to often. And so right here, there's a star. You're going to click that star, add to bookmarks. And then right here, I'm able to add it to my bookmark bar. So that would just be across the bar, or I can create a folder. So right here, I can do other bookmarks, or I could choose another folder. And then maybe I call this PD, so because I use a lot of professional development from Global or PLN or something like that. And so now when I go into my bookmarks, and it's probably going to be hidden, I'm going to show it. And now I can go to PD, and there it is.
Yay. And then, Steph, I don't know if you know this trick or if other people do, but would you please open a tab that says Twitter? We'll go to the Twitter site. This will blow your mind. If you have a busy bookmark menu bar, if you go to the star to bookmark Twitter, add bookmark, and then erase the name. Oh, she knows it. She's a rock star. Yay. It'll just show the symbol for that site. So that'll like tighten up your bookmarks bar. Woohoo, rock star.
And then the Chrome Web Store. So they will probably ask you on the assessment to go to the Chrome Web Store. And you're like, what is the Chrome Web Store? It is like a store that can make your Chrome do magical things, is the way that I like to think about it. So to first get to the Chrome Web Store, you're just going to use that Omnibox. And you're just going to type Chrome Web Store. It usually is that first link, unless you misspelled something. And here it is. So we're in the Chrome Web Store. Again, these are different things. I can make my cursor be pizza. So again, it's doing those magical things for your
look out for Florence the Flamingo in later episodes.
Yeah. And so with that, they might ask you to add Google Translate or some type of activity. So you're going to go to that search the store. And you're going to type Google Translate. And then you're going to be able to find the extension that you're going to need for that exam.
Yeah, it's all very straightforward. The level 1 exam is very, very basic, so don't stress over that one. There's some more extended activities in level 2 or how you use it in your teaching and learning, but level 1 just wants to know that you know the basics of each one of these amazing tools. Oh, our favorite Chrome extension is Color Picker Eyedropper.
Yeah, and so with this Chrome extension, it takes the colors and you're able to get those hex codes. So this is just a fun one, and just know that when you are in the Chrome web store, that you are able to go here, you'll click Add to Chrome, you'll add the extension, and then once you do that, there's this little puzzle piece that pops up. You have to pin them. So make sure you pin it. And again, you can search the store and find a lot of different resources for your Chrome to do some amazing things with it.
We're doing really good for time. You know what? We also want to focus on only do, Steph Rothstein just reminds us, only do what you're asked on the exam. If you're asked to put a flower on the page, put a flower on the page. Don't put your teacher hat on and make it really fancy. Do exactly what they ask. Don't add an extra page to your site or to your slide or something. Do exactly what they ask. You're being graded by an algorithm, so it's not you're not showing off to another human. But I think we have time if you want to demonstrate, because we're like whipping through this. So if you want to show color picker, that might be how.
And let us know in the chat if you have a favorite extension, because I love to pick up new extensions.
Yeah.
That can be kind of done.
Yeah, drop that in the chat.
And this is a really good question too that we should address, that for the dummy account, you are going to be logged into a fake account.
Mm-hmm.
So you will not need your personal or school email. So it is just going to be that fake account. Oh yes, I love Loom. That's a great Chrome extension as well. I feel like a lot of people are probably familiar with the Chrome extensions after this year with video and Screencastify.
Jamie recommends confetti cannon. It sounds like a Stephanie tool.
Oh yeah, that one does sound fun. Let's see here.
Ooh, visor for dyslexia. Thanks. Tab resize and glue. That's a wonderful one. One tab.
And again, you're just adding that extension right onto the Chrome browser. And then again, we go to that puzzle piece and we pin it. And then I can click it. And again, I'm able to pick any color that I might want to find. So again, keep dropping those into the chat, your favorite Chrome extensions, so that we can kind of get a feel for your favorite.
And you won't be doing something advanced. We did a little bit of a tangent showing you more in depth on the color picker, but you won't be asked to do anything complicated. On level 2, you level up a little bit. But so we're ready to go incognito.
So incognito is like a spy, I feel like. And the reason it's recommended. You do not have to do this, but it is highly recommended because for apps like YouTube and other apps, sometimes it gets confused with your school account or another account that's logged into your computer. So one thing you could do is you could sign out of all of those apps. Another thing you could do is use incognito, which is recommended by Google. Again, it's not a must-have, but it will make your testing environment go as smooth as possible. And so right here, you go to the 3 dots, new incognito window, and it's going to look like this. And you're like, oh no, it's dark and scary. And it's Avid colored. But that's okay. And then you're going to do exactly what the test instructions say. So it's going to tell you to go to a certain site. You're going to use that dummy account to sign in, and then you're ready to go with that assessment.
Yay. Awesome. Well, you just blazed through that. So we have time to review your challenges now.
Yeah. And real quick also, with incognito, some districts do block it. Okay.
Yes, ours does too.
So double check that before the exam, because there's a couple of teachers that didn't realize they needed incognito and they were like, oh my gosh, it's blocked. Check beforehand. If it's blocked, it's okay. Just add a new profile, sign out of all your other profiles so it doesn't get confused. So just think about that as well. It's not like you have to have it. It's just highly recommended. So just kind of prepare your mind, check before you take the exam. And then if it doesn't, just add a new profile that has that dummy account. But it is a good thing to check before you get ready to take the exam.
Adding the profile if you can't get to, because we've had trainings at school and we couldn't open an incognito window if we're on a Chrome device. And that's a fantastic tip. Thank you.
Yeah. And so now we're going to look at that leaderboard challenge. You want to do the first one, Stacy?
Sure. So you're going to use the Chrome Omnibox to search for resources on Earth Day. So when you find them, then you're going to tweet them out, and you can earn 100 points for some of these challenges. Double check the points. I'm speaking off the cuff here. But so like the secret word of the day, I know that ours has something to do with that previous mode you just saw. Hint, hint. So you go on Twitter, find the secret. Those are worth 10 points. But these bigger challenges are fun. Tweet them out, share them, tag us. And then you take a screenshot of that and you can put it in your game board. So in the Omnibox, Steph's going to type Earth Day, and you're just going to find some resources. And there's a ton. There's the official Earth Day site. Pick any one of them, screenshot it. Shazam. Oh, that's such a neat one. I've seen this one before.
And then the next one is we're going to find an article that we like and bookmark it into a new folder and called Classroom Resources.
Good skill. Good skill.
Yeah. So one of my favorites is Catlin Tucker.
I thought it was capital gains.
Oh, there you go. And she has a bunch of stuff on like blended learning. Mm-hmm. So let's just find an article from her blog. Oh, Google Calendar. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So I've got this article that I love. I'm going to go to the star again to bookmark, add bookmark. And then I'm going to, I could rename this. So I could put Google Calendar resource. So I know what it is. And again, to create a new folder, you're going to hit choose another folder, Classroom Resources. And now we have that other folder.
That's
so
awesome.
Not look like it went in though.
And then in your phone, and later on, this is a little more advanced, but you can go into bookmarks and bookmarks manager, and you can drag and drop all those. You can reorganize, rename folders. It gives you a ton of functionality.
Yeah. And then the final thing we're going to walk through again is finding an image on Google Earth.
Oh,
and it has to have
Creative
that Commons license.
Good job. That's a good challenge. I think Steph made these challenges, but I'm not certain. And thank you to the amazing Becky Lim. Formerly, you might have known her as Becky Colling. And she set this thing up, the whole Gameably challenges, amazing. So this is wonderful. And then Steph Rossing's reminding us, you are provided a dummy account. And so you'll log out of your other accounts and then log in, and everything's populated. All the images.
And that's just for confusion. It doesn't like you could be in and it could pick another account and then you're like, oh no, what do I do? It's okay. Just kind of think about sign out and just kind of have that one account in. Mm-hmm. And then again, re-sign in or use that incognito window. All right. So we have our Earth Day photos. And to do that, I was on all and I clicked images. So right here, all and images, it kind of allows that search to just search images instead of text and all this other stuff. And now that I'm on images, if you go to tools, I can go to usage rights and I can search Creative Commons license.
And when you have a Creative Commons license, you can use it in almost every format. You can read the license specifically. And there's usually share alike and no restrictions, but sometimes the only restriction is just you. If you make money off of it, you have to contact the owner of the image. Most of the time, you just get a full up open copyright license, which is really helpful in education.
All right, you want a real quick recap everything that we just learned, Stacy?
Yep, because we're right on time. We've got 2 minutes. This is awesome.
All right, so we learned how to sign in using the Omnibox and use that dummy account to sign in to take our exam. Mm-hmm. We also talked about the Omnibox to search and find different resources and bookmark different things that we might need throughout that exam as well.
And the web store?
Oh, yes, and the web store.
And extensions.
An extension.
And we are right on time. This is hilarious. Absolutely 1 minute to go. We're keeping it really tight this year. And that way we are teaching you exactly what you need for the exam. And then later on, you can come back to Global GEG and dive deep on any one of these wonderful things you like. But this is keeping you really specific to the test. The challenge, you're on the board, you'll take screenshots for the bigger points and turn those in. And then there should be, like Jared showed us earlier, where you type in the secret code of the day and just follow on Twitter. If you follow us on Twitter, maybe show them how to follow us on Twitter, Steph. Or you
Do we have enough time?
Yeah.
All right. So if you're on Twitter, you are able to follow all the amazing presenters. And then if you have questions, you can ask them questions. Twitter is a great spot to build that PLN. And I feel like we're getting kicked off. But up here in the search bar, you'll search our handles.
Yay. Global GEG for the win.
The Omnibox, right? With the vocabulary. Awesome. Yes, go to your Omnibox, go to Twitter, and search our handles, including at Global GEG, so that you can not only see those codes, but also be made aware of any and all trainings that will dive deeper into Chrome and anything else that you may want to know.
That's right. So, Dr. Shan, you know what my favorite color is?
What's that?
My favorite color is chrome. It is. It's my favorite color. I love it.
A great color. You know what my favorite color is? Gold. The golden tickets.
And that's why I got my golden shirt on.
Oh, look at that. Wardrobe change.
So, that's right. So, question did come up in the chat about what if you don't have Twitter? You do not have to have a Twitter account to be able to see everything on Twitter. So what you can do is go to twitter.com/Global GEG, and that will take you to Global GEG's Twitter page, where you can see the secret codes and things like that you need to submit into the Gamebly app. Well, we hope everybody is still drinking their coffee. And so we have up next Jessica and Pat, who are going to share some great skills using Google Drive. And who doesn't like to drive a car with lots of Chrome, right? Can I be any cheesier? Maybe.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jessica Brogley. I'm an ed tech teacher in the School of Education at the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. I get to teach courses in educational technology all year long. Dream job. You can find me on Twitter at jbrogley.
And I'm Patrick Hausman. I am in Northern Virginia. I'm a supervisor and coach of EdTech. I also am a certified innovator, trainer, educator, and super excited to get on and share a number of different things on Drive. We'll try and keep it tight to what you're going to see on the exam. So we're going to stick to those things that you see on the screen, from creating, organizing, all the way up through and including converting files, sharing files, getting you everything that you should need when you do it. And I'll go ahead and share my screen so that we will hopefully be up and running here just in a moment. Should be that one. All right, so we jump back one slide, and that's good. That's where I had it. There we go. And apologies if my computer wants to cry just a little bit, because StreamYard usually makes it a little unhappy, but we'll make it through. So on the creating and organizing side, and we're going to go fairly quick, but if you're following along, you're going through and you're like, man, this is too fast, I can't follow. Remember that you'll be able to pause, go back anytime. You'll have access to that recording all the time as we go through. So keep that in mind. If it seems a little fast, you have that backup all the time. So a few things that we want to look at. Number one, many of you are going to know how to get to Drive, but just remember you do have a few different ways to get there. If you go to the waffle icon or the app launcher, you're going to see Google Drive in there. Know that if you haven't, you can reorganize those if you need to. So keep that in mind. If you want to push up some of your most used things, you can go that route. And like it is in many things in Google, if you go to drive.google.com, that's also going to get you straight to Google Drive. So whatever you're more comfortable with, whether it's going to be typing it in, going to that app launcher, you'll be able to make those things happen any way that you want to as far as getting to Drive. And it's really up to you on the exam to do what you're most comfortable with. Whatever you think is the quickest, That's not something you're going to be graded on, so go with what feels good for you. When you get to the creation side, Stacy mentioned this in the beginning part, so I won't hit this part right here, the third bullet down, but you can go to docs.new, slides.new, all of those different things. And you can also think about when you're doing like a presentation, you can actually do presentation.new and things as well. So some of them have a few different things you can play with. And if we have time, I might show a GIF here towards the end of my piece that'll walk you through all of those. But the most common places to create is going to be from the new menu in Drive. You can go to new and you're going to see your docs, sheets, slides, down to forms. Forms at some point in the backside recently graduated because it used to be hidden in this more menu. So know that that more menu does exist in case you need to create anything from in that menu. You'll notice that's one place you can get to things like sites, my maps, drawings, things like that. The other thing that I'll point out here is you can just click doc, sheets, slides, forms, or you can hover over that arrow at the end and you can get into a blank one, or you can go from a template. So pay attention to those directions. Likely you'll be starting blank or with a file they already have, but pay attention to exactly what they say because they're 9 times out of 10 going to walk you straight through exactly what you need to do. But that is how you get to the creation part. And I'll jump back and forth from the slides because I want to make sure that I get you exactly what you need. The other piece as far as creation, if you're not in Drive, you can go straight to docs.google.com. You'll get a screen that looks like this. It'll show you all the files in Drive. You'll remember Stephanie pointed out that you will have some files pre-stockpiled in Drive for you. So you will be able to see those here and from Google Drive. You also see your templates at the top there. And as I go down through these tabs, you'll see that they look very similar. When we were on docs, we saw all our docs, some templates for docs at the top. Slides is the same thing. You'll notice though, if you go to slides.google.com, it actually brings it back around and goes to docs.google.com/presentation. But you know you're in the right place because you see the orange, you see the slides on your screen. And we'll go down through these last two fairly quickly, but sheets.google.com, same view, but you see all your spreadsheets. So you get the general idea that you have multiple ways to get to things as you're creating, as you're doing things. Do what is comfortable for you and kind of what you're used to on the exam. Don't try and reinvent the wheel when you do the exam. Be comfortable, go through the ways you normally go through. If we jump back here to Google Drive, the next thing we want to look at is doing some organization. So right now, if I were to click new and go to a Google Doc, for instance, that Google Doc is going to exist in my Google Drive because that's what I'm highlighted over here. That's what is blue. That's what has the shading around it. And if I scroll down, you're going to see I have a bunch of folders at the top, but at the very bottom, underneath all the goodness of folders and things, there's just loose files spilled out. Those loose files is where that file is going to be if I don't go into a folder first and organize it that way. So think about where you want that file to end up. If it's fine for it to just be in Drive, and those directions are likely going to tell you where they want that file to be if you have to create, and you'll know whether or not it can be down here in all these loose files or if it should be up in a folder. One of my favorite things, and it's probably one of the pro tips on the slide, if I knew, for instance, I need it to be in this Mac folder, that's where they're going to tell me where it needs to be, I'm going to click on that folder first, and then I'm going to go up to new and create that file. So it's already in the folder. I don't have to move it later. I don't have to do anything else with it. It's where I want it to be. Now, if I created a file in this folder and it's not quite where I want it to be, I can easily click and hold on that file, and I can drag and drop it in any folder over here on the left that it needs to be in. I could also drop it back in my drive if that's where it needs to be. So that's one way that you can move things around once you've created it. Nothing's going to be graded on that exam until you submit it, so keep that in mind. It just needs to be right when you hit submit, not at the exact moment you're doing it. If I needed to move it, I can also right-click the file, come down to Move To, and that's going to give me a small window that's going to walk me through all of my different folders in Drive via the arrow up here at the top. And you'll also notice I can create a folder right down at the bottom. So follow along exactly what they're walking you through, where you need it to be, and you'll not only know how to create all the files you need, if, again, they're not already sitting in Drive ready for you, but then you're going to know I can drag and drop it to move it. I can also right click it, hit move to, get those files exactly where I need them to be. And on the pro tip side, just remember, if you can, go into that folder first, create the file there, then there's no organization you have to do after the fact. If you want to organize, remember drag and drop, and it's not going to be on the exam, but you can have emojis, you can color code folders, so more on the personal side than the exam, but think about ways that could help you find your files really easily so that you're always able to locate things quickly. And with that, we are done on the creating and organizing side. We're going to go ahead and jump over to Jessica's screen share, and she's going to walk you through the rest of our Drive slides.
All right, give me just a moment to share my screen.
And please, as we're switching over, if you have questions, please feel free to put them into the comments section. We'll be checking those out, and I'll be jumping over there as soon as we're done presenting and answering them on the fly afterwards too.
All right. Okay. So I think you can see my screen now. Hopefully my computer cooperates. Let's see. So today we're going to pick up and talk about the idea of uploading content. So give me just a second to get myself situated here. There we go. Uploading and converting. So in Google Drive, you have the ability to store whatever you want, right? Content, not just unique to, say, Google Docs or Sheets or Slides. You can upload all sorts of things. And so one thing that you want to consider is how you might go about uploading that content and being organized or using the search bar, and then also converting your files over if that's something you want to do. So first, I'm going to go in. Let's talk about uploading and converting. So I'm going to go into this is my personal Google Drive account. It's a bit messy. I'm a big fan of using the search in Drive, so I kind of let my Google Drive get out of hand. And so this is not my school account. It's our home, my personal account. And so what I can do is I can click New, File Upload, and then upload any type of content I want. So I can click File Upload and then go to my desktop, and I can upload anything. So we've got a Google Doc, we've got some different types of files. I can simply just upload that and off it goes. And so think of the things that you might like to keep in your Google Drive account, right? But you can also drag and drop. Now, my computer is actually a little temperamental today, so I'm not going to move it into, like, I'm not going to shrink my screen down here. Let's see here. I want to, I don't want to show my desktop because I'm afraid my Chrome browser might hiccup a little bit. So we're going to be able to drag and drop. If you reduce your Chrome browser, like the size of it, you'll be able to drag things into Drive. And so that is an option, but we should talk about the idea. Actually, I'm going to get out of present mode here and go into Drive and talk about the idea of converting. So I want to talk about the settings. So when you're in Google Drive, you can click on the gear icon or the gear button in the top right corner. And let's look at the settings that you might have. And so I personally, and Patrick, you can certainly add what you do as well as a user. I do have this checked to convert uploaded files to Google Docs editor format. But I think it's important that you know what that means, right? That means that my files, my Microsoft Word will convert to a Google Doc. My PowerPoint will convert to a Google Slide, and Excel to Sheets. And so I don't mind that. That's what I prefer. But if you don't do that, I will also show you what another option that you can consider. I also check to have offline access. Let me show you how I click that. So that was create and open and edit your recent doc sheet slides while offline, not for shared computer. And so when I click this, I'm going to install the extension that's required and add to Chrome. Now, so for me, I live in a pretty rural area where this is actually, I do consider editing or working on some of my documents offline because I don't always have consistent connection to the internet in our rural areas. And this is something I would also obviously suggest for your students. So I'm going to go ahead and check that. I'm not going to check convert uploaded files just quite yet. I want you to see what you could do if you decided not to. Okay, so let me go back to my list here and just check things over. Auto convert, offline access, went over that. Backing up any kind of file in Drive. So I can upload, just to reiterate this, I can click File Upload and upload videos, entire folders, as Patrick mentioned earlier. If I have this is my personal account, so it's not unlimited, but if I have a photo dump from a field trip, for example, I can upload that entire package and save that there. Same thing. Now, you do want to kind of pay attention to the fact that if you upload say a Word doc that has a lot of formatting, sometimes Google will mess with the layout a little bit, and you might have to consider that. So it's something that I'm going to just find I must have a Word doc in here somewhere. Maybe. We'll see. Something that I can look at. Sure. So if I want to edit this particular document, I can right click on it and open with, and I have all these different tools that I can use. Doc Hub, for example, if I want to work on it that way, but I can convert this over to a Google Doc. And that's the manual conversion if you decide not to click under the settings gear things to auto convert. So just a distinction that you might want to remember. Again, to open with, you're going to right click on the Word file, open with, and convert it over to a Google Doc or a slideshow or whatever it might have been. Patrick, what am I forgetting?
I think you're good. I think we're on to sharing and then some leaderboard fun after that. But and keep in mind, as you're looking at these different things, you're likely not going to have to convert on the exam. But just in case you do, it's very simple process to open as a doc, open as a slideshow. It's right there for you. But we do want to make sure we touch on sharing, how you get those things out to people, how you do the collaboration. And of course, the leaderboard's always a fun thing to check out too.
So the sharing portion, I'll just show you, I've got a GIF kind of working here. So when we're sharing our files, it's important to know that you can share with direct individuals, as I'm demoing in this GIF here, but I can also share with my whole organization. So for example, in this demo here, I am sharing just with people by the link, right? So I've clicked share, and I've gone down to change the viewing rights to anybody at UW-Platteville in my case. I'm currently using a personal account, so I can't do that. And so then I'm going to say, okay, anybody at, say, UW-Platteville or the World Wide Web, anybody with the link, and that means anybody with the link, right? Can they view, comment, or edit? So that is a distinction, and I'll obviously, you have the GIF here to refer back to of how I did that. So I'm clicking that share with UW-Platteville. Yours would say your school district or whatever domain name you have. And then you'll click a down arrow to flip it over to say anyone with the link. And then that allows you to take that link and move it over to Google Classroom or wherever you need to put it, should you want to deploy a link to, say, anyone in your domain or anyone on the web. So URL hacks here, we'll just show the link to this. I really like these images here to be able to learn how to, this is the one I use the most. If I want to change or force a copy of a URL, force a copy of a Google Doc, for example, I am able to grab this link, like my link from my presentation, and as long as I had it set to say anyone with the link, right? And I change the end from edit to copy, then when a user clicks on that, it forces them to take that copy. Very handy when you're sharing something outside of your district, but you don't necessarily want to give out that like sharing rights again and again. And then I think, Patrick, we're probably running out of time here. Do you want to talk about the leaderboard quick?
Yep, we can jump over to that. And the one thing I do want to point out with sharing, and then I'll wrap up here with the leaderboard, is remember in Google Forms, if you have to share one of those, you're going to actually click the send the form, and that will send the link to somebody, or it's add collaborator. So there's one small difference there versus just that share button. But remember that you can have that friendly second tab if you need it. But real quickly here on the leaderboard, couple tasks for you to work through that can practice in Google Drive. So how you're going to create a folder, you can do that in that new menu. You can title it, add a subfolder, and then the key here is you're sharing that subfolder, but not that whole folder. So definitely play with those things. Enjoy it, have fun, and welcome back to our amazing host.
Look at that. Another wardrobe change. You are styling.
What can I say?
Back to black.
Well, those were some great tips on Google Drive, Dr. Shan. What do you think? What was your favorite?
I love that tip about, well, I don't know if it was a tip about keeping the drive organized. that really is super key, but also that you have the ability to search right in Drive and move and find what you need. So if you're not an organized person, you can still find everything right there.
That's true. And while not on the exam, adding emojis to the titles of your folders, that's been a powerful way for me to stay organized.
I forget that. I am the emoji queen. How could I forget that? You're right.
I like the folders I use the most to put the little flame thing on it. That's how I know that's the folder I need to be into all the time. Well, who is excited for Gmail?
I am.
Because Gmail is what we use all the time.
Yeah, I love Gmail. So I'm so excited to be here to share Gmail today. All right, thank you. So hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Johnson. I am an innovation coach from a school board just outside of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And I'm a Google certified educator, level 1 and level 2, as well as a Google certified trainer. Abbott is not here with us today. He's feeling a bit under the weather, so I'm going to do this one solo and try and kind of really channel my inner ABI and the D. So let's see if that works. All right, so let's get started. There's so much to go through with Gmail, and you're going to find that it is like a big sort of part of the level 1 exam. So let's just dive right in. So I'm going to flip back and forth between my slides and Gmail just to kind of demo stuff as we go along. So the first thing we need to know is how to access Gmail. So there's a couple of ways that we can get to it. We can get to it through the waffle. I like to call it a waffle. I like to talk about food. It sounds delicious, right? Or we can get to it through our Chrome Omnibox. So let's just open up a new tab here. And if we go to our waffle and you go search for Gmail, you can click on it there. Or you can come up to your Omnibox and type in gmail.com. And that's going to take you to your inbox. Okay, so a couple ways you can get to it. From there, what you are going to notice is a whole bunch of stuff within your Gmail inbox. So I just kind of want to run through all the different menu options so you kind of know where to navigate and where to find things. So sort of starting at the top here, this 3 pancake menu, I kind of didn't know this at first, so it's really handy to know this. If you click on it, it does hide your side panel. And if you click on it again, it brings it back up. So that's really handy to know, just in case you're like, oh my goodness, where did all the labels go? You're gonna find it right there. From there on the left side menu, you've got your compose window. So you can compose an email here. You type all your stuff out and click send. So let's just close that window. And then you've got a bunch of folders on the side here. So you got your inbox, start, and so on. You'll notice I've got a few labels here, and we're going to dive into labels in a few minutes. So we'll come back to those. And then if you click on the more, you'll actually get more stuff in here. And so this is kind of important because this is where you're going to find your spam folder and your trash, as well as any of the labels that you have hidden here. and also where you can create labels. So like I said, we'll get into labels in a minute, but I just want to show you where those are. You also have access to your Google Chat, your Google Chat rooms, and your Meet, and these can all be expanded out. I don't have anything in there, but that's sort of where all of that is. And then along the top, you've got your search bar, which we're going to dive into in a minute. So that's going to be important for us. Our main inbox, and then the other thing we're going to need is our settings cogwheel. So that's going to be where we access some of those settings. Okay, so that's kind of the lay of the land in terms of where you're going to find stuff in your inbox. And if I'm going too fast, you can always rewind and go back and watch the recording again, because we do have quite a bit of ground to cover here. There are 5 skills really in Gmail that you need to master. So you got stars, which is first. And so you need to be able to add stars as well as remove stars and figure out where to kind of access them in your inbox. So if we go back to our inbox here, you'll notice in the main window, you've got stars beside each of your emails. So if you want to star something, you just click on it and star it. And the reason you might want to do this is because in your left side menu, you have a starred folder. So if you have important emails that you absolutely need to find and you need to go back to over and over again, then star them. Just be really careful. Use your stars super sparingly because you don't want this to become a huge mess either. So I'll often star stuff and then unstar it when I'm done with it and don't need to use it, just to keep this really, really clean and easy to find different things. If I want to take that star off the email, I just click on it again and it removes the star. And then if you're inside an email, you can also add stars in a couple places. There is the stars on the right-hand side here. You can just click it on and then click it back off here. I got a couple of different colored stars set up, so that's why it's cycling through. Or you can go to your 3-dot menu, or since I'm in Canada, I like to call it my Timbit menu because it looks like little Timbits. And you can come down here and click on Add Star, and that'll add a star to your folder or your email as well. So there's a few ways to kind of add stars and access those stars on your emails. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I did, like, if I click on this and I cycle through, it actually cycles through with a couple of different colors. So you can actually customize what color stars you have available in your inbox through your settings cogwheel. So if we go up to that, and then we click on See All Settings, then in here on our general tab, so that's where it's going to land you in your settings panel, just kind of scroll down maybe about 2/3 of the way down, and you can change which stars are available here just by dragging and dropping between the in use and not in use. So play around with it a little bit and see what you like in terms of your colored stars. You've got some other symbols as well here that are kind of handy. With Gmail, anytime you make any kind of changes in the settings panel, you do want to come to the bottom and click on Save Changes because it does not automatically save. So just make sure you go and do that and click on Save Changes. All right, so that's stars in kind of a nutshell. Going on to our second sort of skill that we need in Gmail is knowing about the different inbox types, especially the priority inbox. They really do emphasize that in the level 1 curriculum, so you should know that one for sure, but know that those different inbox types are also available. So there's 6 different ones actually. And if we go back to our inbox, and you're going to access those through the settings cogwheel up at the top right. So we're going to click on that and scroll down here and you'll see your different inbox types. So you probably have it set on default, which is the one with all these different tabs here. And you can go in and customize which tabs show up if you want to do that. That's not too important though. The next 3 are pretty similar to each other. You got important first, unread first, and starred first. So it's just going to determine which one comes up at the top of your inbox first. So important first is any of those emails flagged as important, unread, obviously the ones that haven't been read yet, and then starred first is going to put the starred ones at the top. So just to show you what that looks like, if I click on starred first, you can see Jenna's email up here that I've starred shows up at the top, and then everything else just shows up below that. The other one is multiple inboxes, totally not going there. It is super customizable, really kind of cool to play around with, but go take a look because it's not on the level 1 exam. So just kind of know it's there and available for you. The one I do want to go on though is priority inbox. So you can see when I clicked on that, it's already changed it into a bunch of different buckets here. So we got important and unread, starred, and everything else. And you can actually customize what is available within your priority inbox. So if we go customize, you'll see there's a bunch of different options here. So by default, it puts these in this order. But if you click on the options boxes, you can change the order. So you can really customize your inbox based on, maybe I just want those unread emails up front first. And then maybe I want the important ones after. And then you can even go into more options. So if you've got labels, which we'll touch on in a minute, if you click on the more options, you can actually put in a label in there. And so it's really neat. You can really customize. And Google, their AI learns how you use your inbox. So this will get better and better as you use your priority inbox. If you screw stuff up, you can reset it. So not to worry, you are not going to break anything. You just have to remember to go to the bottom of your screen and click on Save Changes in order for those changes to happen. So you can see now my inbox has changed a bit. So those are the different inbox types that we have available. So again, like I said, priority inbox is kind of where you really want to focus your attention. The next one is labels. So labels are really awesome for organizing your emails into different buckets. They're kind of like folders, but not quite, because you can actually add multiple labels to a single email. So that's really nice in order to be able to find your emails a little bit easier. Now let's go back into our inbox and see how they work. The first thing we're going to do is go to our left side menu and click on More. And we're going to scroll down to the bottom and it says Create New Label. So I'm going to click on that. And this is where you create a label. So I am going to actually make an importance label. In here, you can actually nest labels under each other. So you can create sub-labels as well if you want to. And I'm not going to do that, but you would just click on this checkbox here and then pick where you want this label to be nested under, and it will nest that under for you. So I'm just going to leave it as important. I'm going to click Create. Oh, never mind. It doesn't want important, so we can't use that word. So let's call it VIP. And we'll hit Create. Okay, and then if we take a look in our left-hand side menu here now, then we have a VIP label. And any of these labels, if you hover over them, you do get a 3-dot menu. So you can click on that. You can change the label color. So if you want to color code stuff, which is super important in my world, you can change the color there. You've also got some other options. You can show if unread, or hide it here. You can also edit the label here or delete it. So there's some options in terms of editing for you there. Now, if you want to apply a label to an email, if you're in your inbox, let's go with Jenna's email again, because we started, so I think she's a VIP. So we're going to check that one off. And when you check off an email, you get this new sort of taskbar up here. If you're curious what any of them are, just kind of hover over the top and take a look. But the one you're looking for is the labels. So we're going to click on that. And then we're just going to scroll down and find our VIP label. We're going to check it off and then hit Apply. Okay. If we want to remove that with the email checked off, we can go back into the labels and just uncheck it and hit Apply again. So you can also do this with inside an email. So inside an email, you have the same labels there and you can go and add it. So you can actually add a few, like say maybe with Jenna's email here, I need to follow up, but she's also a VIP. I can put both of them on there, and it'll label them both. And then that way, if I go to my follow-up, I can see her email right there. Or if I go to my VIP folder, I can see it right there. So labels are absolutely amazing for getting your inbox organized. And then once you've even got them labeled and dealt with, you can come in and archive them. It just gets rid of them from your inbox, doesn't delete them. So it's super helpful for organization. If you want to go in and manage your labels, you can, if you click on the labels, you can go to Manage Labels, or you can access that in your left side menu here with Manage Labels. And you can go in, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here, but I just want to point out that you can delete them or edit them within this panel here as well. So that's worthwhile knowing where that is. Okay, skill number 4. So we're moving on here. The next one is search, and there are some search operators that will be really helpful for you. We'll share the link to the slide deck for today at the end of the session on our website, so you can access that there and take a look at these. You do not need to memorize them or know them or have them in your head. You can actually look them up during the exam if you need to, but there are some handy things in there. So within the search panel, if you click on the filters here or the search here, you've got a bunch of options to search for different emails. So you can search from a person, you can type in their name or their email address, both work. You can search for a to, so maybe you're searching to a specific person, you can search that. You can look for subjects. So for example, I know like for any of the calendar invites that have been accepted, I know the word accepted comes up in the search, so I could search for that and I'll see all of those emails that have that word within it. You can also search for specific keywords within the email, and you can also exclude words within the emails too. So you can really kind of narrow down your search in here. You can also look for size, so greater than or less than a certain size, and you can change the size at the side here. You can search within a date, and then you can search all mail, or there's some other options. And then you can also check off whether it has an attachment or not. So one example I just want to show you really quickly is I know I got some emails from Rick yesterday. So I'm just going to type in his name and hit search, and I actually don't see them there. So if that happens and you know you got an email from someone, it's possible it could have landed in your spam or your spam basically. So if you come down to this search here and go to search in mail and spam and trash, because by default it just searches your mail, and you hit search again. Oh, look, there we go. I found Rick's emails, and they've kind of noted them as spam. So I'm just going to leave them there. Okay, one more skill, and I've got 4 minutes, so this is good. This is good timing. The last one is filters. And so this kind of goes hand in hand with the search feature. So what you would do to create a filter, and a filter is going to help you just automate some of the processes that you use in your inbox. So say I always want to add a label to Jenna's email that's VIP, because she's always a VIP, right? So every time I get an email from her, instead of having to do that manually, I want to just add that label automatically and take that out of my workflow. So what I'm going to do is come up here, and in the search, I'm just going to look for emails from Jenna and search. And so you can just double check and make sure it's pulling up the right emails for you. Then you're going to go back into your search panel, and instead of clicking search, you're going to go create filter. And lots of options here that you can play with. So you could have it skip the inbox and archive it automatically, so it would go straight to your archived email. If you want to, you can mark it as read. That one's great for newsletters and things like that. You can star it. So, if I if I want to always star Jenna's emails, I can do that. I can also apply the label, and this is where I want to add the VIP label. There's a bunch of other stuff, like things here, like say I wanted to set up a filter so that Rick's emails never get sent to spam. I could come and do a separate search and set that filter up here. I'm not going to do that though now. I'm just going to leave it as is because they were kind of spammy. And then we're just going to check off the also apply filters to the matching conversations. So I kind of like to do that because then it's going to pick up everything. Once you're kind of happy with that, click create filter. It does take a minute to kind of do its filter and do its magic. But if we go back to our inbox, you can see it's applied that label there for me. So there's a lot you can do with filters. We don't really have time to go into a ton of stuff here, but kind of play around with it and see what you think. Okay, so kind of moving on to our leaderboard challenge now, and the one you've got for Gmail here. So you're going to use the search bar in Gmail to find emails with an attachment. You can then use the search bar in Gmail to find emails with a star, and also create a filter that automatically adds a star to emails from someone important. So I think we got that figured out as we were kind of working there. But yeah, that's Gmail in a nutshell. And when I get back into the YouTube chat, I will share a link to actually a blog post I have that has all of this stuff like really, really detailed for you. So you can go back and review if you need to as well.
I was just going to say, I'm going to have to rewatch this section because
I know it's a lot for level 1. So
Matt, did you hear that tip about inbox 0? I didn't know it existed. My mind is blown, definitely. And this is for everybody. You can go back, rewatch, pause, rewind, speed up. If you missed some of that Gmail stuff, you missed some goodies. So please come back to this after our time is up here and check it out. So
I just have to say, Rachel was savage.
Oh my goodness. I need a brain break. I'm like, whoa, I was learning so much. Thank you, Rachel. So Simon says, we know that, especially with virtual learning, that it is so important to stop and stretch. And so here's, an idea. I'm not Simon. I am Dr. Shan, but you get the point. So we're just going to do some seated Simon Says. So Simon says, and you should be doing it. I know I can't see you, but do it. Simon says, nod your head slowly. Simon says, tap your head 3 times. So we're stretching our neck and waking ourselves up. Flap your arms up and down.
Like a chicken?
Like a chicken. Just stretching our bones. Blink your eyes quickly. So I know I'm not saying Simon S. says, but I do want you to do all of this because it's so important to just release, stretch, stand up, even if you need to. I don't want to leave the screen, but it's so important to take that moment to take brain breaks, especially with virtual learning. And we invite you to do that during our boot camp as well. So what do we got next? We have so many goodies. We are up to calendar.
Hello.
My calendar.
Welcome.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. It's really nice to be here. Come on, Jessica.
So my name, well, you already know me. I guess I was on not too long ago. My name is Jessica Brogley. I'm that ed tech teacher in the School of Education at UW-Platteville in Wisconsin. And you can find me on Twitter at jbrogley. And with me today is
Gerardo Navarrete. I am a teacher at Universidad Interamericana para el Desarrollo in Mexico, and I live in Campeche. I'm a Google certified educator and a Google certified trainer, and as a leader of GEG Campeche and two for Global GEG. And I'm so happy to be here to share with you one of the most important tools in Google Workspace. I love calendar. I think that it's the joy of the crown, the joy of the crown, because it's really useful for us. And so we will be using the next slide. Steph, please. Okay, thanks. So when we have several ways to get on calendar. One of them is going to our waffle and select the application, so it moves to calendar. Other way to do that is going to our mail window and using this option. We can find the calendar icon right on the right tab to access the calendar. So if you don't want to do this, you can select a new tab and then you can write use calendar Google to send another tab for calendar. So we can use calendar as we use our agenda and our notebooks to take care following our dates and following all events that we have set up for us. So you can see a lot of calendars they have, and you can have one personal calendar and add any new calendar to manage your events and manage your task. So we will begin using the tool to create a new calendar. A calendar you can identify the calendar by one color and what a name. So we can create other calendars besides personal calendar. I click here and I create a new calendar. I am creating a new calendar now just for manage all about tennis team. Then I can set up my events, set up my meetings, set up my task for my tennis team from this calendar. Then I check on click create calendar. It's creating. It takes a little time. Then I can go to my calendar and I will find on the right side of my calendar. So I can go to tennis team and I can configure it. I can export calendar. I can set up to show invitations and auto accept. I can establish permissions to make public my calendar or maybe to share with specific people. I can add people to this calendar and share my calendar with another because it's a great tool to find. It's a great way to find where you can meet with others when you are selecting an invitation to a meeting for everybody. When you can set up even notifications, you can set up all kind of notification that you need for this calendar. And when you create an entry in this calendar, it will show you with all calendars that you have selected. You can too integrate the calendar or you can just remove your calendar. For each calendar we can set up a color and we can see them in the right side of our paneling calendar. I'm going back to my calendar so you can see them. Then I have now a tennis team calendar. It has set in red color. You can change your color here. I just select a new yellow color for my calendar. And that's it. I had a new calendar and I had put the name and I can have many of our events in this calendar. Okay, now you can create the most important thing in a calendar, that are the events that you are going to share with others, or that you are going following now. So you have to different ways to create an event. One of them is using the plus sign on your left top. So you can add a title. Oh, what about the next tournament in my tennis team? So you can set up then the date. You can set up to the time. It's in a slot of 15 minutes. So you can set up to an all-day event. So you can set this time for your event, and you can add some stuff that you can share with others. Two, you can add guests to invite someone, typing their email addresses and making the invitation available for them. You can set any all details that you can see here. So this is one way. You can take the other way to do this, trying on the date when you have to set up the event. As example, I want to have an event on 14. Then I click on the calendar and I have my window to create a new event. So I can add another name of my event. So I can have a match with David. I feel he's okay now and he got better soon. So I feel that I can be with him on July 14 at 9 o'clock to play a nice game. So I can add the location and I can just save my event. No, you have seen how to create a calendar separate from your personal calendar. You can manage of your calendar or all your calendars. If you can see, I have several calendars. If I want to see them, I just have to click, and the events when are not marked disappear from my calendar. So I can manage many of my calendars to have different ways to find my events and to isolate those events that I need. So you can share your calendar, as I said, assigning permissions to someone. So you can just this, sharing your calendar, and you can make share with specific people. So you can check your availability in your calendar because you can see all your events set up, and you can use to your calendar to send invitations with this match. For example, I can edit and I can set Avid. So I can make an invitation to Avid to play the game with me. So then I have to save, and then when I do this, when I do that, I can send invitation where save. It asks me that I have to send invitation, and I just do that. So you can then create calendars, manage multiple calendars, create an events, share calendars, and now I'm gonna give time to Jessica to find the next two tasks related to calendar.
Absolutely. Thank you. You did a great job. Geraldo covered creating and sharing, making that event. I'm going to talk about adding stuff to an event and then showing you how to create tasks and reminders. So let me quickly share my screen. Okay, so adding stuff to an event. So I'm going to pick an event. I'm just going to add an event so I can show you what I mean. So this again is my personal calendar. So there's no school. There are some school events. Obviously, I've got a few different kinds of calendars here I'm managing. And so I'm going to add a new event. And this happens to be just a 2-day event. Notice how I did that. I highlighted the 2 days. I was dragging my cursor across those 2 days. I could have entered them in manually as well. I can also be more specific and add in a time. And just for those of you who are juggling multiple events, like a repeating event, don't forget that that is something you can do too. I may, like, for example, my son's baseball games are every, Tuesday and Thursday for X number of weeks, right? I can also add guests. So I'm going to go ahead and do that quick just so I have, there we go. So I can add someone in. But then I want to go through and add some content. Let me see here. There we go. Notice here, I'm able to add a description. I can write about the event, but I'm also able to attach files. And so I'm going to go ahead and attach a few things just to see what happens here. Notice I can attach from Drive, things that have been shared with me, or upload content. So I'm actually going to upload some content. This is actually something I do need on our family calendar. So I need it. I got to go to my downloads, which is a mess. I'm going to grab my 2 files and upload. Okay, so I've now attached 2 documents related specifically to this event. Very handy when you have guests or colleagues really that might need an agenda attached, right? And you want to keep that. Remember too, it could be a link. So back from the Google Drive session, Patrick and I had shown you how to make a clickable link, right? So you could have a rolling agenda to a meeting that you click on in the description, and that agenda stays the same the link stays the same, and you just keep adding on. It's a great way to keep, especially if you then set that meeting on to repeat, it keeps everybody on your team kind of on the same page, right? And so I've got my people invited. I've added some documents. I also need to pay attention to what calendar I'm adding this to. I think that is really important that you're aware of, especially, for example, I've helped some teachers who embedded their school calendar on their website, but accidentally added personal events to that calendar, right? So you want to be cognizant of which calendar you're adding things to. I personally do need to set up the notifications because I forget everything so fast. And so I like the notifications to go, and you can pick whatever you want, as you can see, day and time. And so that is an option. Oh, I can add a location. Dubuque County Fairgrounds. Nice. And so I know where that location is, but for other users that are unfamiliar, right, if they access that then from their phone, right, they're going to be able to get directions or navigation to that particular location. Pretty handy stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, and it will send an invite. So I'm going to go ahead and send that. And I'm going to turn this on. So this file system here, it says, basically, do I want to give this user, anyone with the link can view this file, or I could just share it with this individual person. I'm going to go ahead and just give an open link to that. And so now I see it on my calendar. So that's how you add stuff to your event. Now let's talk about tasks and reminders, okay? So first of all, I want to point out here that I have, if you see over on the far left here, I've got certain calendars kind of activated, but I have 2 here checked, reminders and tasks. So what that's going to do is allow me to set reminders to things I frequently forget, and then build some tasks. So I can click create and then flip over to a reminder. And so remind myself to do something. I don't know, there's only like 100 things today that I need to remind myself to do. Stop by College Farm. And then I can pick my time at noon today. I can have it repeat, click save, and then it's going to show up. Do you see that right there? Isn't that nice? That's great. And if my phone is going to also then remind me, hey, don't forget to do this. So I'm going to click on create again and scooch on over to not tasks. I'm sorry, not reminders, but tasks. And so for tasks then allows, if you're that task manager, like your mind, you have, the memo pad filled with stuff and you'd like to digitize that to-do list, Google Tasks is pretty handy. So I know that I need to get those fair entries in. Okay. And I can set myself a due date by next Friday. We'll just say 11, and I can write my description, but I have already set up some different to-do lists. So I'm going to call this farm tasks and click save. So then it's going to show up on my family to-do list, right? And so then I can also review that by going over on the far right here. Google Tasks appears, it's embedded, and I can toggle between my to-do lists. So that should give you a pretty solid kind of overview. Now you know how to create, share, make a new calendar, create an event, add stuff, and now how to manage tasks and reminders. We better go over that leaderboard quick, right, Geraldo?
Yeah, we have to make our leaderboard challenge, so you can, as I said, create a new calendar. You just go to your calendar view and you can you can create your new calendar and choose the name. So you have learned how to create an event. So you can create your event and name in office hours. And you can see in the time and date below, you can find how to repeat the event in several ways. So we were really excited to be here, and I have to thank Jessica to share with me this part of the session. And thanks everybody. Bye.
Appreciate it. Bye. Have a great
Bye. Thank you so much.
Yes, great job. Great job.
I saw you wrote something in the comments, right? Something about if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. Was that you?
Yeah, it's true. And I'll tell you too, I get in trouble all the time with my wife when I do something and it's not on her calendar. I remember to put it on mine. I just forget to put it on hers. Constant issues in the Johnson household, I have to say.
Just want to remind everyone about these leaderboard challenges. Remember that these were crafted specifically for you to practice the skills that are on the exam. Plus, and a super benefit here is that they're worth 100 points on the leaderboard. So make sure that you come back to the information that's on our Global GEG website for these leaderboard challenges.
And remember, you get the code to take the test for free if you're in that top 5. So, you want to be in there. Look, Rick's already. Yep, we got it. Well, speaking of Rick and Georgina, we have 2 very awesome people coming on to tell us about Google Docs. Who's excited for Google Docs? Raise the roof. Woo, woo.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, I'm Rick Ballou with
Georgina Dean. Good evening, everybody.
I guess we're supposed to do introductions. Everyone else did it. So
makes sense. Let's do it up.
Cool. I'm Rick Ballou. I'm here in Minnesota. You have to say it that way if you're from here. And I'm a Google certified trainer, coach, innovator, and the leader of GEG Minnesota metro area.
And I am Georgina Dean, and I'm joining from Amman, Jordan today in the Middle East. And there's no specific pronunciation on that, so we're good to go. No. And yeah, I'm a Google trainer, GEG mentor for the EMEA region, and most things googly. And so I'm really excited to be here with Rick across time zones. Are you ready?
Yeah, this is, it's not early morning for me, but I know it's your evening. So you get us started and I'll hop in.
Awesome. All right. Drop in the chat, guys. Let us know who is ready to get their Google Docs on. So there have been some pretty cool updates for Google Docs, and we are excited to share with you. Today's going to pretty much cover most of the basics, as this is level 1 certification, but I am excited because Rick is like the master of accessibility. So I'm also looking forward to learning from him today on that. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen in just a second. We're going to cover with you guys today 3 different ways that you can open Google Docs and how you can share a Google Doc, because let's face it, right? We need a lot of kindness in the world. So we're going to show you how you can share your Google Docs to collaborate. And then Rick is going to walk us through some accessibility features, which is also super important in the new abnormal. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and we will get started. So feel free, guys, if you'd like to follow along with us, or if you would like to watch and then try this out at the end on your own. So the first way that you can access Google Docs to either create a new one is to use your Omni bar at the very top of your Google page. So when you go to google.com, or google.co.uk, or whichever region you're in, it will bring you to the Google landing page. And in the URL of the Omnibar at the top, you can enter docs.new is the easiest, quickest way to open up a Google Doc. Check this out. You push enter after you click docs.new, and it will take you to a brand new Google Doc. Let us know in the chat if you guys knew about that or not. I'm not going to steal thunder from anybody else's app, Rick, so I'm going to let them unravel the others. But Google Docs can be easily accessed, a brand new one, using docs.new. Remember, guys, top tip from me today is to make sure the first thing you do when you open a brand new Google Doc is to title it. So GEG Bootcamp, for example, will mean that it's going to save immediately to your Google Drive. Okay, there's 2 other ways that you can access Google Docs. Are you guys ready? I'm keeping an eye on the chat. You ready, Rick?
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop. Let's do this. Okay. So the second way is to go to your Google Drive. So there's different ways to do that, but I've got mine open, ready to go. So from inside your Google Drive, you can right click inside your My Drive, and you can click on Google Docs, and there's an arrow next to Google Docs. You can choose 2 ways. You can either click a blank document, or you can choose from a template. Templates are going to be covered in level 2 later on, both. So we'll click on blank document, and there we have again a brand new Google Doc. And so again, the first thing you're going to want to do is label that GEG Bootcamp. We'll put a number 2 at the end, and that is a second way you can open one. Okay, who's ready for number 3? I've got a lot of readies in the chat. They are fired up and ready to go, Rick. All right.
Let's see it.
Let's do it. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so the third way to access Google Docs, guys, is from your Google Apps menu. So all you need to do is find the little Google Apps menu at the right-hand side of the screen. Oh, wrong way. I always forget that. Next to your Google avatar. And when you click the Google Apps menu, most of the common ones you'll find at the top. Google Docs there is at the top of my window. Rick, do you think we should drop the top tip for reorganizing your apps, or should we leave that? What do you think?
Ooh, let's drop it. Let's
I'm feeling fired up, guys. Okay. In case you all didn't know, you can reorder your apps in your Google Apps menu. So you can, if Google Docs, you're using it on the daily, like you can see here, I'm using Classroom on the daily. You can take Google Docs and you can drag it and move it up next to Classroom like magic. Have you done that before, Rick?
All the time. Whatever one I'm using, I shift it around. Sometimes I go by color. There have been other times I've tried to put it alphabetically. Yeah, it's kind of one of my favorite features.
I really love that. I really love the way that you mentioned some different ways. Guys, if you've used this feature before, let us know in the chat if you have used any strategies that Rick has to reorganize your apps. I hadn't thought about organizing them like that, so it's great to have more tips. Okay, so from the Google Apps menu, guys, again, just click on the Google Docs, and when you click on that, it's going to open up the Google Docs app. I left this way till the last way because I wanted you to see the interface, the web interface of what the Google Doc apps look like. So inside here, and we're not going to cover all of this today, but inside here, you'll have your recent documents, you'll have access to templates at the top, and just like your Google Drive, you can actually search for Google Docs using the search menu at the top. So just like I clicked on GEG Bootcamp, you can see all sorts of Bootcamp goodies. I'm excited. Okay, so that's a little bit of a search tip for you guys. And now what we're going to do is we need to get rocking in Google Docs. Are you ready, Rick?
Yeah.
I think I asked that like 3 times. Who is not ready by this point, right? Okay, here we go. So what we need to be able to do in Google Docs, guys, is we need to be able to collaborate, okay? I think this is my favorite feature of Google Docs is that you can actually collaborate and get your creativity on with your Googly friends, just like Rick. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this nice blue share button at the top right-hand side. Right now it's set to only for myself because I just created it. So I'm going to click the share button and I'm going to add people using this button at the top. So I'm going to add Rick's email and look at that. He comes up right away because I have collaborated with Rick before. So it's perfect. We are Googly buddies.
Woo-woo.
Okay. So what you guys need to know, and this is not unlike slides that you're going to see later and other app sheets, etc. You need to make sure that you just check this sharing button to make sure for confidentiality, privacy, you are giving the correct access to Rick. So I would love to get Googly with Rick. I want him to be able to edit this document with me. So right now it is set to editor, but just make sure you ask or you understand how you want to collaborate with people. Maybe you're sharing an agenda and you only want people to be able to view the information that you're sharing. Maybe you'd like them to give you feedback, and so you'd like to give them comment access only. So just make sure you know how you'd like to collaborate. Okay, so as I said before, I definitely want to give Rick edit access. And also I can select right here, do I want to notify Rick? If I click notify, it's actually going to send him an email to say, hey, Georgina, she wants to collaborate with you on this Google Doc. Now, because we're on the live global GEG bootcamp together, I don't need to inform Rick, but I want to give him quick access. So I'm going to leave it turned on. Hi, Rick. Again, are you ready?
Yep. Let's do it.
All right.
Already.
So now I'm going to click send. This just is asking, am I sure that I want to share this with Rick, because Rick is not in my trainer domain. So I'm absolutely going to click share anyway. And now it's going to send the request to Rick and he is going to come on in. You'll know that Rick is inside the doc because his avatar will pop up once he's got access to the document. So we'll see him here in a moment. So I'm going to check the YouTube chat and see, guys, if you have any questions about anything that we've reviewed, please drop it in the chat. I'm keeping my eye on it. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to pass it over to Rick. Okay, let's do this.
Whoa. Oh, wait, I'm not ready.
Oh,
wait. Yes, I am. I'm totally ready.
You tricked me.
So, yeah, I love how there are so many different ways to get into a new doc or into anything really, as far as Google goes. I did see someone ask how to add forms. When we shared that little trick, I'm going to take over sharing right quick.
Yep, I'm going to stop the screen share. Go ahead.
Boop, share. Oh, that's my favorite thing to see. Okay, so.
Mine too. It's just making sure everybody's paying attention, you see, and in case anybody was not feeling googly enough,
Right. So there's all the things. Anyway, so here's Drive, right? And they wanted to know how they can add forms to this. Because if you click on it, I don't see forms right away, do you?
No.
It's way down here. And since I'm not in a school one, this is just like my personal, you get all sorts of extra random ones too that may or may not be turned on by your sys admin. Like, I mean, how often do you see that?
Yeah.
Only when you're studying for level 2, right? Like, that's not the only time. Anyway, so let's go over here. Now, as far as the level 1 test goes, they don't talk a lot about accessibility, but the fact is, I kind of wanna, because I feel like it is something that is very important. And it's something that a lot of people skip. And the accessibility tools that you can add on are easy to find. You would use this one that says add on, but it can be as simple as this, right? Do you see my cursor?
I do.
Does it seem abnormally large?
Well, I'm not wearing my glasses. Let's ask in the chat. What do you guys think? Does Rick's cursor look abnormally large to you guys? Let's see what the chat says.
Because what I did was, it was normally here, this size.
Yeah.
I cranked it up
very
here.
good.
And that's just one accessibility feature that's built into your machine. But when it comes to doing things within Google, there are some that are baked in that we just take for granted. Like right here, this guy, normal text, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted to start, you could just start typing, right? And it's just going to do that. But if you are someone who is using a screen reader, what it's going to do is it's going to just start reading whatever block of text you have here. And there are no guide markers, right? There's no way of keeping track. It just, like, if you were to say, have an essay, it would just start at the beginning and go all the way to the end, saying all the things. And that's not necessarily going to help someone with a screen reader. So, for example, if we wanted to make this so it is something that is easier to be parsed by a screen reader, you're going to use this section here. So a lot of people will just change this, have normal text, just do that, and then just go, right? They just start typing and then say stuff here, right? And then keep going. But if you're on a screen reader, it would just be words, 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 words. An important thing to remember is, when dealing with accessibility, what you want to do is make sure to use these magic things right here are going to help you be more accessible to people with screen readers. So, asking in the chat, how googly are you guys feeling? Is this making you feel more prepared for the exam? Great. If not, I still think this is an important thing to touch on. One other thing I want to touch on is, all this is baked in, right? This is baked in goodness right into Google, but you can add on things. This is one of my favorites. It's called Accessibility Checker for Docs. It's not.
How cool is that, Rick? Oh my goodness. Yep. Guys, let's have some love in the chat for Rick, guys. This is just mind-blowing. Oh my goodness.
Sorry about this. It's not on the exam. I know we're supposed to be discussing level 1, but
life is not about exams, not in the googly world. So we are good.
Nope. It's about learning. So what I'm going to show you is, you click on this. The way you'd do is you'd click get add-ons, right? And then you would type in accessibility. I already have it installed. So we would go here. And then what's super cool about this is, there's a lot of other accessibility checkers that exist. And this is not an endorsement. I'm not getting paid by these people. But what I like about it is, it's super duper simple. Look at that. It just tells you.
Amazing.
You get a little smiley face if you're doing it right. And if you're not doing it right, like let's say, just for funsies, check accessibility. Oh, doc does not have title, right? So what it's going to do is, it will. Oh, now it's called just start typing. Anyway, what it'll do is, it'll let you know what you're not doing correctly. And it's going to help you to be, well, frankly, have an accessible document or anything within Google. Because here's the little secret. This, even though we're just talking about docs, can you guess what the name of the one is for slides?
Ooh, that is a good question. Who will be the first to answer that in the chat?
First to answer that in the chat.
And while people are going to answer that, Rick, I wanted to let you know you had some really big love in the chat for this accessibility tool. They said it will be really awesome for their teachers and students, some big wows, some high fives, really, really good stuff.
Cool. Because yeah, I can't see it. But so accessibility checker for docs. What did anyone guess what it's called for slides in the chat? I'll wait.
Are you asking me because you can't see it?
Yeah, that
you
is
really
correct.
couldn't see it for real?
No,
I thought you were pulling my leg again. I love it.
No, I'm only on one screen. Oh, yep, there it is. A bunch of people said accessibility.
I can tell you.
Yep, and then okay, so if you figured out this is for docs, accessibility checker for slides, what do you suppose it is for sheets? It might surprise you.
Good question. I'll let you know in the chat now.
Yeah, so
there's always a small delay with the live, but it'll come in.
Yeah. So it's for docs, it's for slides, but what do you think it is for sheets?
Good question. Oh.
Anyone guess yet?
Not yet. Oh, Jenna says accessibility checker for sheets.
That's right. Yeah,
Jennifer, the win.
Woo!
Let's give her some high fives in the chat, guys.
Yeah. So that it's just called that. And that's an add-on, and those are things that are baked right into Google in the add-ons. There are still others that I enjoy. Up here in your puzzle piece, you can add other ones. For example, one of my favorites when dealing with stuff. Oh, you don't need to see this. Well, one of my favorites in dealing with things as far as slides go is this guy called Grackle. I like it because it's the name of a bird and not a terribly exciting bird. But let's go over here. Here's our. This was where we were at, right? We did 3 things. We did sharing. We did accessibility. This is us demo time. Let's go. But if I were to go over here to my puzzle piece and click on Grackle, let's see. Well, it's not letting me do it while I'm in distraction-free present mode. But what it will do though is it will look over the whole slide deck and see if we are doing this properly. Are we being accessible? And so this one, this guy right here will be able to check all the stuff for you. So that's just a really fun way of doing stuff with accessibility. But enough accessibility talk. Let's go right back over here. The main things you want to remember, right, are going to be the 3 ways of opening. Should we review those?
Oh, I think that's a great idea. But let's see if anybody in the chat can help us review them. Okay, let's give them a couple seconds. And while we're giving them chance to type those in the chat. So guys, what are the 3 ways to open a Google Docs? I also wanted to just shout out, there was a question in the chat saying about the add-ons being blocked by their administrator. And I just thought I'd let you guys know, sometimes that happens. Sometimes administrators want to be really safe. And I just thought I'd let everybody know that sometimes there are things in the marketplace that aren't necessarily have been yet approved by Google. And so it's actually a safety measure. So don't be too hard on your administrators. Sometimes it's a good thing. All you need to do is send them a link or a screenshot and ask your administrators by email, hey, this is really going to help our community, or maybe you need to pass it through an instructional coach at your site, or maybe your line manager, whatever is your process at your school, just flag it with them and see if they can turn that on for you. So no worries there. Okay, Rick, we have our guesses in for the 3 ways to open docs. Mike says the waffle. Oh, very good. He also mentioned a couple others, but want to shout out also to Cynthia, who mentioned the Omnibar. Awesome. And Donna followed up with docs.new. Donna, you're so close. Just make sure it's docs with an S first, .new, and that will get you the new doc. And Dara also says from Google Drive, congratulations. Way to go. They're fast learners, Rick. They didn't really need us, actually.
No, I feel like we're wasting their time at this point.
Right?
But,
they brought all their googly to the session today. They didn't need us.
Yeah, they've got the Google. Well, and it's docs too, right? Like it's the thing that we start with. It's almost always the first thing that we start with when we're learning, right? Type the written report, or at least people of my generation. I'm old. We used to use typewriters.
I'm old too. You're not alone, buddy. I got you.
Right on. So I think we're to the point where we want to discuss the leaderboard challenge. Does that sound right to you?
It sounds about right. We got about 6 minutes left. So let's dive in. Yeah, we maybe could show them. Well, it's up to you. I don't know. We've got 6 minutes. What do you think?
Well, we wanted to, we talked about 3 ways to open. We talked about sharing, talked about accessibility. I think one of the things that, I mean, not that we're allowed to say what's on the exam, but I recently recertified too, like Dr. Shan was saying, for goodness sake. I'm getting text messages. We have
That's good. That means people are loving your Googly session. That's awesome. I love it.
It's about the 10-year-old with her sleepover, but that's that too. So I just recently recertified my level 1 and level 2 because it is every 30.
Let's get some love for Rick in the chat, guys. That's a pretty big thing on GEG Bootcamp.
Woo woo! So what I did was I recently did level 1, and in doing level 1, they don't talk a lot about docs. They do discuss docs, and it creates an instance of Google for you, and it populates your drive. I'm not saying what's on the exam, but remember this button and what it does and all the stuff that Georgina talked about. For example, remember how she took a doc and created one, but then she found it in her drive and then she shared it with someone and gave them editing rights? I feel like that might be an important thing. I mean, without getting too specific.
That's pretty important. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what else I was thinking we could drop for them, Rick? I was thinking we could get the link in case they need to send this Google Doc via like Gmail, for example. Ooh. What do you think about that?
That's a good idea. So let's say you wanted to share the link. So where would you look to share?
Oh,
right there. Okay, so you're on the doc, you're ready to share. You could do it this way, but if you want to send it to someone via email, here's a way to do it. You could, right now it's restricted, only people added can open this link. You can change it though. You can change it to restricted, anyone with the link. So there are ways to change it. I'm assuming that if it was, say, in an exam type setting, it would probably be within your domain, but you would just copy this link. Right? So let's run the whole thing again. You click share, you click, you can change, links can vary, right? But you'll see this, anyone with the link, you could change it to restricted, only people in a certain domain, anyone with the link, or, and you can then decide, do you want them to be a viewer, commenter, or editor? Viewer just means they can look at it, like basically like a website. They can just see it on their screen and that's it. Commenter means you're giving them permission to say things like, hey, are we sure we want a smiley face like that? Don't we maybe want to do our smiley face more like this? And then you could, whatever, they could leave comments over on the side. They would be able to add a comment, right? But and then of course there's the free most open access way to do things, and that's to give them editing rights so they can go in there and do whatever they want. So that's, then once you get the link, all you would do is click this copy link button, and now it's saved directly to your what is that called, Georgina? I can't think of the name.
To your clipboard?
That's the one. Copy to your clipboard. Yeah, I don't know why that word escaped me. And then you go to your email and send it that way, or you can send it via chat, or you can drop it into a Meet, which, by the way, this isn't on the exam, but have you noticed this fancy new button lately?
Oh la la.
Present the meeting. So hey, Google is listening to us educators, and if you were in distance learning and doing stuff within Meet, they've made it that much easier now to present to a meeting without having to go in and click the button, share screen, and then go, can everyone see my screen? You can do it all right here now. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, and I gotta say, Rick, like Google for Education, Google Workspace for Education, Google Workspace itself are doing phenomenal. Just like Rick said, they're listening to us, they're taking that feedback on, and they are bringing us updates that are going to make the lives of educators, students, and parents supporting those students much, much easier. So I guess you've got the leaderboard up. Great, because we're down to our 1 minute warning. So handing it back over to Rick. Are you guys ready?
Ooh, I'm ready. Wait, are you ready, Georgina?
Okay, I'm ready now.
Okay, cool. So your leaderboard challenge for this one is you're going to open your doc and title it Q&A. I don't think you have to add that. So you're going to create a doc, open Q&A, add the text, add your questions to this doc, select the text questions, and add a comment. So we didn't discuss much about how to add a comment, but that's not what we wanted. So to add a comment, it's pretty straightforward. You highlight, like this said, add the text, select the text question. So in this, you would, on your doc, you'd do that, click that, right? But anyway, so I click the word here, then you press this button that says add comment, and then you would add a comment. So I'm not giving away how you do this. I'm just telling you how you do this.
Because clearly there's a difference, right?
Because I use different words.
Hey.
That's the difference. So, that is going to be your leaderboard challenge for docs. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Rick, I want to thank you because I learned so much about accessibility today from you, and it is always a pleasure getting my Googly on, and it's so great to see you and everybody in the chat. So thanks for joining us.
Same. This was fun. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Rick and Georgina. That was awesome.
Accessibility.
That is.
Yeah, accessibility for docs. Didn't know that. I learned that in this very moment.
Now I have a new extension to download. Does anybody else in the chat have extension problem where you just download all these extensions and then kind of forget to delete them when they don't work anymore, or when you realize you don't need them anymore? Am I the only one that's like that?
No.
That's where I have my issues.
I do have a quick joke that I heard many, many moons ago. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So if Google had ships, where would they park them?
I don't know. Where?
In Google Docs.
Oh. Love it. Love Google Docs.
I know we don't exactly have time for this brain break, so I figured I'd just tell a little joke in general. But when you get this slide deck, take the time to watch our little dancing mouse just to, there he is. And get up and dance at that time. So we're moving to slides. Welcome, Shannon. Welcome, Robin. Take it away.
Hey guys, my name is Robin Larrabee. I am from South Florida. I'm a high school teacher. I'm actually from South Florida, but I'm currently in New York because it gets just too darn hot in Florida in the summertime. So I have to be here, but I am the leader of GEG SOFLA and also the mentor for the South Atlantic United States. Go ahead, Shannon, how about you?
I am Shannon Moore. Hello, everybody. High school English teacher. I also teach speech. I'm also a site technology coach, and I live in Central California. So we are on opposite sides of the coast today, bringing you all good things with slides. You can check us out and connect with us on our Twitters. They're listed there underneath our names. The things that we're going to be dialoguing about today are opening a new deck and slide, kind of a little bit lot of repetition there in regards to opening things up, but it's never a bad idea to repeat things. We're going to talk about inserting different items, talking about changing colors, themes, fonts, etc., and then we'll close it out with how to share your deck with everybody. I am a huge fan of Google Slides. Are you, Robin? Is it one of your favorites?
Oh my God, Google Slides is just kind of one of the most versatile. It's like genius. It really is. And people are like, oh, isn't that like the Google version of PowerPoint? It is so much better than PowerPoint. There are so many things you can do with it. And I think from a teacher standpoint, it's one of the most often underused tools that could be like just take over your entire life once you get a handle on it. Now, of course, we're not going to go into all of those things today because we want to get you through the test. But trust me, once you get a handle on Google Slides, it is going to rock your world. I will share my screen. Yes, totally blew your mind. But since I'm sharing my screen, though, I won't be able to see any kind of comments. So, Shannon, if you need to stop me with something, just let me know. So let me get my screen going. Sorry, give me just a moment. I'm on a different laptop today than I ordinarily am. So
it's all good. While she's bringing up her screen, guys, why don't you guys let us know in the chat so far what has been the one thing that is stuck out to you most based on what our presenters have presented. So we went through quite a few different apps. We're coming to the end of day one, level 1 of boot camp. We have a lot of great things, a lot of energy in the chat, Robin. Very, very exciting.
Good.
Sarah says that Slides saved her for virtual learning. Me too, Sarah. I couldn't have done without it for sure. Great to see some people that are familiar in the chat. Wonderful to see you. All right, let's do this.
All right, so the first thing we're going to do, like Shannon said, it is a little repetitious, but it's always good to know. So Shannon, do you want to let me know what I have to do? And also, I'm going to stop you for a second. I completely forgot, totally forgot, and I apologize. Florence is here with us today. So for those of you who were in boot camp last year, you are very familiar with Florence. Florence is my cursor. I have a thing with flamingos, but anyway, take it away.
Fair enough. All right, let's pop over to the slide deck if we'll start there, and then we'll go ahead and have you demo just a little bit if you don't mind. So what we've done when you guys get access to this slide deck, you can find on slide number 41, we have included 2 more. There we go. We have included just 3 different options to start your slideshow. First and foremost, you can follow suit from what everybody's been speaking about earlier today and use the shortcut, and that is slides.new. Slides.new. Everybody take a pen and write that down somewhere. Muscle memory matters. So if you go to your Omnibox, you type in slides.new as Robin is doing, it will go ahead and open up a brand new slide deck for you. So that is one option. Voila, as you see. If we go back to our drive, if you navigate to the drive, you can go ahead and open up from your drive. So there on the left side, you see an image. You go to that new bar in the upper left with the plus sign. Find Google Slides, it'll push you over and you just click on it and there you go, brand new slide deck. Again, there are templates you can use, but we're gonna go ahead and stick to the basics today. So that is from our drive. So we have slides.new, we have new and then slides from our Google Drive. And the third is from the Google Waffle. So when you are logged into google.com or your drive or whatever, you can go up to the waffle there up in the top right next to your name, you click that. And once it opens up, it will go ahead and bring all of your different Google Workspace apps, find the slides icon, click it, and there you go. There is your slide. So why don't we open up a new slide and show them how to, or a new deck and show them how to actually add a new slide. So there's a couple ways you can do this. First and foremost, what I'd like you to do is once you've opened a new slide deck and you want to add new slides, I'm going to show you 2 ways to do it. If you go to the toolbar there, right below the Google Slides icon in the top left, you'll find a plus sign. If you click that plus sign, that will add a new slide. So you can just go ahead and click it. Now, the cool thing is, as many of us know, there are different backgrounds that you can use, right, for layouts rather. And so if you look next to that plus sign, you see that little drop down arrow. If you click that arrow, that's just a quicker way to find the specific layout that you're interested in. So that's one way to add a slide.
That's a real time saver too. Great time saver.
Absolutely. Yep. And then another way you can do that is if you click out of there, go to the left side panel where you see your slide deck kind of laid out for you. Go right underneath number 2 or 1, and then right click and new slide right there. And click a new slide, and there you go. It looks like the shortcut for that is Control M. So there are some different ways to open up a new slide. And then just for our purposes, once you open a slide, sometimes you need to delete that slide. There's 2 ways to do that. I'm going to show you that real quick, and then we're going to transition. So as Robin is navigating over that slide number 3, you see it's lit up yellow on the left. If you right click, you can see that there is duplicate slide or skip slide, but right above that, you see that word delete. Up, 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 There we go. Click delete and bye-bye. Slide goes away. Another way to do that, one last thing, and this is the easiest shortcut, is if you are on the left panel and you highlight that slide, you can click it and push the delete or the escape button, and it'll get rid of your slide on your keyboard. So those are the ways that you open a slide deck, right? 3 different ways. Again, when you get that the slide deck later on, you'll see that laid out there. And then how to add a new slide and delete it. Shortcuts save lives and time. So
yes, what would we do without them? I don't know. All right, I'm going to go ahead and show everybody how to insert an image. Okay, now the easiest way to do it, I'm just going to, first of all, I'm just going to get rid of some of this stuff that's on here so that I can show you what's going to mirror what we have in our slide deck, which ultimately is going to end up looking something like this. So as we all know, I have a thing for flamingos. So I want to do a presentation on flamingos. To put in an image, you can click on insert, or you can click on this little excuse me, this little icon that looks like a picture, and it's pretty standard across Google anyway. So if I insert, it's giving me a lot of different options of what to insert. Right now, for starters, I want to insert an image. So once you click on insert and you go down to image, you have a few options. You want to have something in there that's already on your computer. Do you want to search the web? And of course, you can read all those things. There's no sense in me reading it to you because you can read. I'm going to search the web. And the nice thing about this is it brings it up right next to your slide. So you don't actually have to click out of Google Slides to do it and go into a Google search. It does the search for you right in front of you. So I am going to search for a flamingo. And also a nice little tidbit that you don't necessarily have to know is everything that you search for here under Google Images on this slide deck will give you images that you can use, and they are free of any kind of copywriting. So I'm going to click on this flamingo. 2 ways that you can insert it. You can either double click it and it will put it on there for you, or if I go back to insert image, search the web, and I find my flamingo and I click on it, you see the little pop-up at the bottom that says insert. So I can click on that and it will insert it as well. We only need one for today, so I'm going to eliminate that one. Of course, you can resize it. A nice little thing to remember is when you resize it, always grab from a corner. Don't grab from the middle or from the middle of the side, and always hold down the shift key because this way it'll keep the ratio the same. So now we've got our lovely flamingo. Next, we want to insert text. Same thing with inserting text as with images. There are 2 different ways that you can do it. Equally as easy. It really is a matter of what you prefer, but you can click on insert text box, or if I click out of that, you'll see this little text box that says text box. So if I click on the text box, I'm going to drag over a box, and you make it as big or as small as you want. And I'm going to call it the wonderful world of flamingos. And you can go ahead, and I know Shannon's going to touch on this a little bit in a couple more slides ahead, but you can of course change the size, you can change the font, you can change everything here. It's magical, really, it is. And that's all you have to do to insert text. Of course, if you decide to put in a slide that has some kind of formatting on it, you would just go ahead and click here to put in your title, and then you would put in the rest of your text here. So it's pretty easy. Back to our flamingo. Now I want to show you how to insert a link. What's nice about inserting a link is if you want to give a slide deck to your students, or you want to give a slide deck out to a staff meeting, perhaps a training that you're doing, but you want people to be able to access anything that is even remotely close to what it is that you're presenting to them, or you can even have it link to another document or another slide deck. Regardless of how you do it, it's really very simple. I am going to do a search real quick on, who would know this, flamingos. and find some information on flamingos. Got all sorts of interesting things here on flamingos. But let's go ahead to the Wikipedia article. Sorry, my computer is a little glitchy here today. And once we pull up, then I can highlight and copy the URL. Okay, that's all you have to do is highlight and copy it. And then wherever you want to insert it, you can insert it on an image or you can insert it on text. You just highlight, you just highlight that text and you are going to insert a link. Once you click on insert link, it's going to ask you, what do you want this to link to? You can link it to further slides, like if you want to do an adventure story with your kids, find your own adventure, you can link it to other slides. Or if it's more informative, then you can link it to another URL. So I'm just going to put in that URL, click on apply, and you'll notice that it changes color. And we don't need to get into this right now, but you can even change the color that it changed it to. However, if you click on that, you'll see now it gives you a little preview of what it's linking to. And you would just click on that link and it will take you directly to that page that it was linked to. So do we have any questions so far, Shannon? I know I kind of rambled off a whole lot there and I apologize if I was too fast.
No, you're doing great. In fact, it's crazy to me. And this is the beauty of that idea of a global PLN. All the questions that are coming up, individuals in the chat are answering them. So we're good to go. You're doing great. And yeah.
Okay.
Let's forge forward.
We will forge forward. The next thing I have on my to-do list here, I'll go back to our slide deck just so that everybody can kind of see where we're at when you get the slide deck and you want to go back. So that was inserting the image and the text. And sorry again about the whole laggy. It's coming up, okay. And then we have here, come on.
We do have one question. Somebody asked,
yes.
How do you make the image a link? How do you make the image a link? Can you link images?
Yes, you can. So if you click on the image and then you do insert link, you do the same exact thing. Again, I'm just going to go ahead and link it to that web page that we were just looking at. And you click on apply. Then initially when you open up the slide, this is what you see. But then if I click on that picture, that image, you get that same preview that you got when you linked it to the text up here. Yep. Hopefully that answered the question. Is that okay?
Yeah, we have another question coming in. It's in the level 1 test. Will we need to link within the slides, like link one slide to another? So if maybe I don't know if that's on the test, but we can maybe talk about like adding a home button or like table contents idea and linking within the slideshow.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. I recently, I think in May, I recertified. I did my level 1 and level 2. I think the level 2 asks you to link it to other slides. Level 1, I think, does ask you to link it to an outside source. I don't remember exactly. And of course, even if I did remember exactly, I couldn't exactly say. But it's the level 2, I think, that has you doing it to another slide. But I can certainly do that. That's easy enough. So here, if we want to insert, actually, let me put another text box in there. And I'm just going to call this Hello Flamingo. And then if I want to say on my next slide, I have something on here. Let's go for another image. All right, that one looks good. I'll insert it. And maybe I will tell my students, okay, once you read through the wonderful world of flamingos, I want you to go on to another slide. So on here, I would insert link. And you see the first thing that pops up is next slide or first slide. So if you've got a ton of different slides that are on there, you can choose, and it will tell you exactly what each slide is for. So if I say next slide, or let's make this even more challenging. Let's just say I want to insert it to the first slide so that you can see exactly what I mean. Do first slide. And then this way, once you have your slideshow and you click on this or you click on the image, you can go to that web page. Or if you click on Hello Flamingo, it'll take you automatically back to whichever slide it is that you have associated with that link. Good so far?
Yeah, you're doing great. It's great. Let's go ahead and move on to tables.
All right. Let me get rid of this bad boy here. Inserting tables, very similar to inserting everything else that you have. You click on Insert, and on here you're going to click Table. Now, and you probably have seen this on Docs, when you create a table, you are going to create a table that suits your needs. So it's going to give you the availability to make your table however many rows and columns that you need it for. So for today's purposes, let's just do a table that is 3 columns and 3 rows. So a 3x3 table. So you would just kind of hover your mouse. I'm not clicking anything. Hovering my mouse over how many rows and columns I want. So I would click on that and boom, right there. Now, my table in this particular instance is overlapping the image, and that's just kind of sloppy slide work. So I want to, oops, sorry, grabbed the wrong thing. I want to just kind of resize my table so that I can move it over, and this way it's not confusing when you look at it. It's not right on top of anything. Now that I have my my table, maybe I want the kids to fill in something. So let's say we have food in one column, and then we have lifespan in another column, and then say we have activities. Sometimes the brain doesn't spell right on summer. See, I was going to say Christmas.
That's okay. Now, that's what spell check's for.
Real quick with this, something that I always find helpful, and I don't believe it's on the level 1 test. It's definitely not on the level 1 test for slides, but it's something good to know, is if you see it automatically justifies all of those words like it would in a doc. Usually when you have a table or a chart, it's nice, it's just visually appealing to have those words in the center of each one of those cells. So the way you would do that is you would, again, highlight the word, and then you would come up here to the justification, and I would justify it center. So you can do that for each one if that's something that you want to do, that you need to do. And this way, now you have your table, it's got the columns, you can read it well, you've got your links. So everything is right there on just one slide. So imagine what you can do with a number of slides. All right, I think now, Shannon, if I am correct, now we are up to changing the theme, the colors, and the fonts. So you want to tell me what to do on this one?
Sure. Let's start by sticking to the slideshow for just a second, if you will. I just want to kind of show, guys,
absolutely.
If you take a look, once you get this slide deck, on our website, you'll be able to see I have included a bunch of different cheat sheets there to do a quick access. You're going to be working primarily today with theme, colors, and fonts. You're going to be working with that toolbar that is right above where your slide lines up. So if you look right above that, you'll see the plus sign, the undo, redo, et cetera. You'll find background, layout, theme, transition, all of that good stuff. That toolbar is going to be your best friend when it comes to changing theme, font, color, outlines, etc. So let's start by changing the theme. So if you'll do me a favor, let's go ahead and move to our presentation you've been working on. To change the theme, and that's the great thing about Google Slides, is it gives you an opportunity to really customize the experience that, so that it's not only good information, but it's also visually appealing. And I always teach my students how to do this as well, because it gives them a little bit of autonomy on how to select the design.
Yes.
So if you'll do me a favor, right above where it says wonderful, if you go up, you'll find where it says theme. So right there, if you click theme, there's going to be a panel that opens up to the right side of the Google slide deck. Now, if you scroll down that, you'll see there's all sorts of themes there. You can choose literally any of them. They are free for you to use, which is awesome. And just a side note, let's go ahead and choose the pink and white one, since that one is, good for Florence there. So it will automatically change the theme and the fonts as of all of your slide of your whole slide deck. Now, here's the thing. My recommendation to you would be to choose your theme first before you add anything, because what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start populating those slides, that theme that is going to be arranged. If you add it after the fact, it's not necessarily going to convert. Okay. So
I'm going to go ahead and delete these 2 slides that I already did so that
perfect.
You can kind of talk through the rest of that one. Okay.
Awesome. Sounds good. Okay. So there is our title slide. Notice we have the theme. We've chosen the pink and white theme. We can go ahead and X out of that right panel to give ourselves some more room and expand the slide, if you will. Perfect. Now, remember, we taught you in the beginning how to add a new slide. So if you'll go ahead and add a new slide for us on the left side panel there. And it gives you, that's going to be the default. So it's going to give you a title slide, right? So you could put the title at the top and the information below. So that is how you change the theme. Now, if you were not satisfied with that second slide and the look where it's title at the top and text below, you can go ahead and go right to the left of where you pushed theme and click on layout. And it'll give you a drop-down menu of all the different layouts in that theme. And you can choose to change it up and use any of those. But we'll go ahead and stick with the title slide for now. So that is how you choose a theme. Bonus, and this isn't on the test, but this is for all of you educators out there, and it's a useful kind of tool.
What bonuses?
Paula from Slides Mania is the most generous, giving human in the world. There's a bunch of different websites out there where you can go and get custom Google slide decks already created and populated and designed for you. Maybe we can get slidesmania.com popped into the chat for people to investigate. Let's give Paula some love. But she has decided and graciously given so many different designs that you can use to support that. Okay, so you can go ahead and choose that. Let's go ahead and continue though, just for time's sake.
Yep.
That was slidesmania.com. So let's go ahead and add a, let's go ahead and click to add text. So it already has the text box for us. Let's go ahead and, okay, we can do that. Yep. And let's type in Shannon and Robin. Perfect. All right. Now, go ahead and highlight that for me. We're going to go ahead and change the font style. So you're going to use your cursor to highlight the whole thing, or you can click Shift and the backspace. And we're going to go up to where it says Source CO. So it's the font button right next to the font size. If you'll click that, there'll be a drop-down menu, and you can change any of those. Let's go ahead and choose Open Sans. That's a great one for a bunch of different readers. Perfect. Right next to the font box is the font size. So you can go ahead and click the plus or minus arrows to make the size larger or smaller. It's really up to you. If you don't want to do the plus or minus, you can simply click on the number itself and add a number in. Let's go ahead and make that 30. 20 works too. Either way, perfect. Now we've changed the font type, we've changed the font size. Let's go ahead and move one over to bold. We're going to go ahead and bold the font. So that B right there, if you click it, it bolds it. Awesome. The shortcut for that is Control or Command B as well. Now let's go ahead and italicize it, which is the I. Good, and that can be Control or Command I. And then one more time, we're going to go ahead and underline it using that underline tool right next to the italicize up at the top. So B, I, and U allow you to kind of diversify the way that your font looks. Maybe you're trying to, get it to something to stand out. You can do all that. All right.
Just make sure your font is highlighted. The font that you want to change all this to has to be highlighted.
Absolutely, it does. All right. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to change the font color. So right next to our bold, our italics, and our underline, you'll see it's an A with a bar underneath it. If you click that, you have a bunch of different options. Let's go ahead and change it to that green. I love that color, that teal next to the purple.
Okay.
Perfect.
Now, one thing too is, and this isn't on the test, but it's also another one of those really good tips, is the first font color choices it brings up are the font colors that are used with the theme of the slides that you have chosen. You're not stuck with that, of course, because you can see you can even put in a custom if you have a hex code or RGB code. But we're going to just stick with the theme. Sorry about that, Shannon. Go ahead.
No, brilliant. Thank you so much. And then the last piece is right next to the A with the bar underneath the font color is the highlight color. So if you want to highlight a section, remember you have to make sure that the text is highlighted first. And then let's go ahead and click that yellow, good old yellow that's up at the bar. All right, now off click and let's see what we've created. So we have Shannon and Robin. It is italicized, bold, underline, new font style, it's teal and it's highlighted yellow. So that is the first kind of, that's how you change all of the fonts and the colors. And so the next thing, and then one of the last things we're going to do before we wrap it up and you're going to share some items, please go up to the title bar for me and click to add title right above Shannon and Robin.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
No worries. And let's put just test for time's sake. We're going to go ahead and change the text box color. So if you do up at the top, so now we're going to move, we just moved to the right of the font style. Now we're going to look at the left of the font style. So go all the way over to the paint can. That paint can right there is how you're going to fill your text box. So if you want to have some contrast in your slide deck, you can go ahead and do that. Just choose a color. We'll go ahead and fill it however you think. Awesome, purple. So now you've filled it purple. So the next step would be obviously to change that text so it pops. So you can change that white if you'd like. For time's sake, it's up to you, but there we go, perfect. Right next to the paint box, if you click that little pencil, it's the outline color, just to the right of it, I'm sorry. Right, to the right, there you go.
My other
Go
right.
ahead and you're good. Go ahead and let's change it to, let's say, teal. All right, perfect. Now click off. Notice we have now put a teal box around the text box. So that pencil there is going to be your outline color. And real quick, just to kind of get through this, right next to that, if you click the weighted lines next to the pencil, that is going to change your weight. So maybe 4, great. And then the piece next to that, okay, cool. So the piece next to that is going to click on the box. You'll find the dotted lines, and that can change your design of your outline. So it can make it, super pretty. So there you go, a bunch of different ways to customize the color, the font, the outline, all of that good stuff. And so here's the thing, guys. We know as educators that the more visually appealing something is, the more that students are going to be engaged. And I know people are like, well, it's not about that. But truly, as a high school educator, and Robin, I'm sure will agree, you have to make things visually appealing, especially in this age of, really shifting to kind of a virtual hybrid model. Yeah.
Yes.
And so please, please, please consider this. And those tools, that toolbar that I talked about at the top that we were navigating is going to be your best friend. And to be honest with you, we're going to do one last piece just because it's really important. I'm going to throw it over to Robin real quick, but we're going to talk about sharing your deck because it's the most important piece.
Okay. And before we do that, here's a quick quiz, a really quick quiz if we have just a couple seconds. If you notice on this particular slide, the word text is all the way flush left justified. How could we get that word text to be in the middle of the text box? Do you want to answer that, Shannon, or do you want to wait just a couple seconds and see if anybody can drop it in the chat? I can't see the chat, so that's up to you.
Sure. So since there's a little bit of a delay, why don't you move into the sharing feature, and then we'll come back to that and kind of end with anybody who can answer that. How are you going to move text from left to middle?
Yes. Okay. So now one of the most important things, and it prompts you when you try to share, is it's going to ask you to name it. Now, one thing that I was going to get at the end of this is you never, ever, ever want to leave anything that you're working on in Google Drive without a title. It should be one of the first things that you do, because otherwise you're going to have a gazillion untitled docs, untitled slides, untitled sheets, and you'll never find what you're looking for. So let's just title this, and then it'll let me share it out even better. So we're just going to call this Shannon. Oops, if I could spell today, that would be wonderful. All right, so Shannon and Robin. Sharing here is exactly the same. I know that you saw Patrick and Jessica did it earlier. Georgina and Fred did it earlier. Rick. Okay, why is it not letting me share it now? Of course it's not letting me share it now. Hold on. I'm just going to do a new one real fast. Don't know, it's like just totally. All right, sorry about that. Blah, 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 blah. Geez, can my computer be any slower right now?
Hey, it's all right. While your computer's catching up, we have a lot of geniuses in our chat. We have center align. We have select the word and then justify or align middle. So they have given the answer as to how to move the text to the middle of the thing. Yeah, use your formatting tools, left, middle, and right alignments.
Perfect. Perfect. All right, so share. Okay, here we go. Thanks for sticking with us. One more minute. We're going to go ahead and show you how to share, and then we'll go ahead and continue on. Thanks so much, guys. Okay, so you're going to put in whoever it is in here that you need to share it with. So if I do me, and then same thing, you want to make sure that you look down here. If you're going to get the link, make sure that whomever it is that you're going to share it with is somebody that you either want to have commenting, editing, or just viewing privileges. Again, the viewing is they can just look at it. Commenting is they can just leave a comment on there. And of course, edit it as an editor, that person can go in there and do anything he or she would like to do to that slide deck. If you're going to send a link, you need to make sure that you are choosing there who you want to be able to see it, because you don't necessarily want to have a link and then share it out to somebody and then that person shares it with somebody else and you didn't want that to happen. So just make sure that you choose the correct sharing privileges and to whom you want it shared. Any other questions for me?
Nope, it looks like we are good to go. So we're so grateful for your attention and your time today. And yeah, that'll wrap up slides. If you have any questions, again, you can connect with us. Oh yes, the leaderboard challenge. Last little piece. Hey, Chantel, what up? All right, last little piece. For our leaderboard challenge for slides, what you're gonna do is you're gonna create a new slide presentation and title it Digital Citizenship. So new slide presentation, title it Digital Citizenship. On the first slide, we'd like you to add a title, and then you would title it Internet Safety Tips. So that's actually on the slide deck. On the second slide, and grab 3 internet safety tips, add those to the text box. And then lastly, find and insert a YouTube video that addresses copyright issues on the third slide. So please, please, please follow those guidelines, screenshot, share with us at globalgeg.com. I'm sorry, at globalgeg on Twitter, and good luck. Bye.
Thank you, Shannon and Robin. That was awesome.
Don't forget Florence. So we are on to some question and answers. So this is your time out there. If you still have questions on anything that was covered today, now is the time to get those questions answered. It's all you.
Leave them in
Thank you. Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Well, great to see everybody in for day 1 of Level 1 Bootcamp. My name is Devin Rossiter, joined by Filomena Pizzulli for our big bad Q&A session. Look, there's been a lot of ground we've covered here so far. We've talked about Chrome, slides, docs, calendar. We got some calendar in there, as well as Google Drive. And there's a lot of ground to cover. And so we wanted to make sure that we have this opportunity to look into the Q&A form that you've been able to fill out, as well as in the chat. We've got some great questions coming along to help you out as far as picking out some things that are likely going to be on the level 1 exam, but maybe some things along the way that can kind of nudge you into utilizing it more in a comfortable means. I'll go ahead and introduce myself first. My name is Devin Rossiter, joining you from Bakersfield, California today. Former 6th grade teacher, math instructional coach, and curriculum specialist with Bakersfield City School District, currently with Dreambox Learning as a professional development specialist, and a former 2-time Jeopardy champion. I'm a Google certified innovator, trainer, coach, level 1 and 2. I've got the infinity gauntlet of all the certifications. And so I'm really proud to be able to join you for our Q&A session today. Filomena, go ahead and take the stage. Let us know who you are.
Yes, thank you, Devin. My name is Filomena Pizzulli. I am an Italian middle school teacher, and I am also, like Devin, a Google innovator, trainer, and a certified educator. I'm so proud and honored to be here because before us, there were amazing educator and presenter. I love all the session, and I hope that they help you to go through your examination, your next step, level 1 examination of Google.
So I want to start off with a question that came up in the chat. Really interesting question that comes to us from Bhuvaneswari Kalyanam. And he asks, can you please provide some clarity on the incognito mode? and about the use of a dummy email for the test. People might start to see that kind of come through as far as what will be set up, as far as the resources available. And what's really good is that it provides the information for you when you register for the test. So you won't be using your personal email as part of the materials that you'll use. It'll set you up with one, and it'll give you the credentials for that within the construct of the exam. So don't worry about having to set a new one up yourself. It will set that in for you. Now, as far as incognito mode, Philomena, I believe that what you're going to be doing with incognito mode is just providing kind of a secure environment so that a lot of your personal info doesn't kind of come through, correct?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Incognito, I love this incognito. In Italian, we have incognito. You don't have the new sound.
I feel like there's like an also additional context when you say incognito in Italian that we don't get in American English.
No,
I'm just intrigued by that.
I like Melissa wrote in the chat, is there a special infinity ring you get with all certification?
There should be, right? I put in a lot of that work. I feel like I need something. Nothing happens when I snap. So Melissa, that's how ideas, let's put it out there in the universe, and then I'll just take half of it away.
But Melissa, I have to tell you, when you start with Google Path, you can't be able to finish. You want to learn more and more. It's such like a drug. I don't know how to represent you better.
Tori asked a great question. She's heard the number of hours associated with the test, about 3 hours generally. She says, I know you have 3 hours for the test, but on average, how long does it actually take for people to complete? And I know in your experience, everybody has their own kind of vibe. It can take around an hour and a half if you're just on all cylinders, if you're clicking, you had a good coffee intake beforehand, and you're just firing off. I know of some people that have come right up until the end, based on how long the different parts of the test have taken. I've generally heard, and you tell me if your experience is similar, Philomena, the question-based aspect can be a little bit faster, and then the part where you're actually linking and creating elements to demonstrate your skill set, that can generally take a little bit longer. The best advice I can give you is make sure that you have that hour blocked off, set aside, uninterrupted. And that can mean like going out, to a co-space or a library and just giving yourself that dedicated time, locking that door, doing it at a time where, everybody, look, every single exam I've taken has been at 8 p.m. after the kids have gone to sleep, and my wife is downstairs watching television, so that I know that I have that block. And there may have been an adult beverage off to the side while I was taking that, and I don't think that they hold that against you. But generally, you just want to make sure that you have an environment that is friendly for focus.
Yes, I think that at the beginning, before you do the examination, you think that 3 hours is so much time. I am telling you, in my experience and other people's experience, 3 hours is the perfect time, because you have to do the question and then the scenarios. And when you are doing the scenarios, you have to pay attention and be calm and thinking about not rush through the examination. Sorry. And like Devin say, you have to be quiet. So you choose the best moment on your day to do examination. For mom and daddy, for example, is during the night. So take your free time. Be aware that anything could disturb you, and then you have to stay focused 3 hours.
Cheryl McCoy asks, can you move anywhere on the test, or do you have to answer before going on to the next question? Great question, Philomena. I'll go ahead and let you respond to that one.
Yes, I was answering. You can delay one question or more. Then before sending your examination, your answers, you could redo and re-answer on, check all the answer you have already gave. So don't worry, there is no one unique attempt. You may take your time to one more difficult question. So you can jump.
Tasha Froelich asks, what do you need to know for the multiple choice questions? And, you know, I would generally say that the resources that are provided as far as that skill set question, the course, does a really good job of preparing you for that multiple choice element. If you've gone through that, if you feel good about how you've responded to those, I think you'll be fine. I don't think that the multiple choice is meant to trip you up or throw any curveballs your way. I think if you have a very foundational understanding of how to interact with some of the basic elements of Google Workspace, you'll be fine with the multiple choice part. Generally, from what I've understood, that's not the part that really throws people off. It's having the time and the depth of understanding to complete those tasks.
Absolutely, absolutely. Can you still use two screen on the test? Tasha, you can, but I don't recommend it. Devin, you too?
See, I think that having the second screen is very helpful, but I believe that the incognito mode of just the one main window is really what it's looking for. You know, what you use that second screen for, I've heard of some people just kind of having it as a reference to check off to the side. Or just having a clock is also very helpful to make it more visible. I've also seen people have some music on in the background just to have some focus energy, and they use that screen for that. Yeah, but you can have it available. It's not going to mandate that you disconnect the display or go into single display mode. That's your space, so you've got that for you. Great question.
Yes, but I think that when you use two screens, you may lose attention and focus. So I don't recommend, because you have to try to respond and not even back and forth to the two screens. So please stay on the one screen just for avoid any complication.
Let's go back in here. A lot of great questions coming in on the chat. Thanks for really throwing that in. There's a lot of good clarity coming in. And for those asking about some of the other elements regarding the exam, as far as the content, things like Google Sheets, forms, sites, all of those, and Classroom, especially the big one, Classroom, right? Like everybody wants to know about Classroom. You'll see resources posted on the Bootcamp site after this session. You're going to see links to checklists, but also keep in mind, we're going to have some information on the next Bootcamp as well. So stay tuned for that. There's a big question here. Zheng Laoshi, can we go to the restroom during the test? You don't have to raise your hand. Nobody is actively watching you on the webcam. You're hopefully in your own comfort space so that you don't have to ask any permission. You go how you go. Aaron Byers asks, do you have to recertify every year? The answer is no. No, that is about once every, I believe, 3 years.
Yes, it's only for Google Trainer, and we talk about maybe in other session about that. You have to do something to have your certification confirmed, but not in this session.
Another great question here. Melissa Dent asks, is Google Drawings going to be on the test?
In level 1, I don't think so. Devin?
I don't believe so either. It's a wonderful tool to be able to play around with, especially if you want to create your own images and graphic elements that you'd like to use for things like docs and slides. And especially if you have that creative lens on graphic design, especially since one of the options is to bring them in for like if importing them, right? That's one of the options, is to import from drawings, but you don't have to worry about it for the level 1 exam. In fact, if you think about it, when you try to access Google Drawings and create one, there isn't even a shortcut for it. Like there's no draw.new, which is, I think, very telling as far as kind of where it sees it as like an upfront, immediate priority. Deanna Dinder, yes, go Huskies. 4 years with the Beanpot going strong, some way or another. Cynthia Bronner asks, how soon should we test after finishing the level 1 training? You know, I feel like anytime I do a big cram session or train, if I feel like I've got momentum that I'm there, I try to do it as soon as possible. Now, like I said, you want to give yourself about a week before you take the test. So if you feel like you're good to go, book it, and then book yourself time. You know, the most important gift you can give yourself is time. It's the one thing we all have, but nobody ever has enough of. So make sure that you set some time aside, focus time on your own calendar to make it happen. Great question.
Yes. And if you do all the leader challenge that we suggest today, maybe you have all the tools to do the examination. The only thing that you have to do is practice, because only with practicing you can afford the examination, and you have all the things, all the tools to become a level 1 certified educator.
You know, one thing I wanted to touch upon from the slides presentation, and Shannon and Robin did a great deal of work, but I wanted to make sure I touched upon this because it's something that people might be looking for, and it might be framed a little bit differently because, you know, anything with Google is an ongoing draft. There's never a final version of Google or anything. So one example of that is, I think one of the elements on the level 1 test for slides is master slides, like basically like how to create like a general template. That terminology is changed. It is no longer referred to as a master slide. In fact, when you go to Google Slides under View, where you would normally see that term, it is no longer called that. It is called Theme Builder.
Yeah.
So make sure that you make that connection. Those are one in the same. Theme Builder is where you lay out your base template for the background and elements for all of your slides if you want to design that. So I wanted to make sure that we brought that on board because that's one thing that, you know, it may not cross over cleanly.
The first time that I didn't find the slide team and I was so confused, then I understand that they only changed the name.
So Maria Esperanza Valbuena Mahecha asks, when are the Google exam certification taking place? And the good news is it's whenever you want them to. It's on your schedule. All you need to do is book that on your own, and then you decide when you want to take that exam. Make it on your own schedule. And then there's a lot of really good questions coming in about things like Google Forms and Sheets. And please join us next week because we're going to hit all that for level 1 in depth, and we'll be there for that as well.
Yes, absolutely. And when you register for the platform, you have, I think, a day to do the examination with the login and username and everything the Google sent to you. So when you are ready, you have to pay for your examination. They will send your username and password, and then you have 8 days to complete the examination as well.
So there's a lot really coming in here. Remember, again, that the slides will get posted on the Global GEG Bootcamp site after the end of our session here. There have been just, Philomena, you tell me, and Dr. Shaw and Jared, wonderful questions to wrap up the day. High energy. People were there the entire way. Wonderful group of people we got here.
Absolutely. And Jenna is reminding us that next week we have Sheet, Form, Classroom, Sites, Group, and YouTube. So many things next Saturday. Thank you, Jenna.
You're not going to want to miss it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. We got more coming next week. More. That's for sure. So you want to stick around for that.
That's right. I'm still here drinking my cup of joy. I see, Jared, you have done yet another wardrobe change. And you know, the color blue just often can obviously mean serenity, but confidence as well. So I love that you ended this session with your confident shirt on. I also love that, or I hope that the people watching are leaving here feeling a little bit more confident about what exists on the level 1 educator exam.
Right.
What are we covering on July 17th?
Well,
again?
July 17th, that's going to be another jam-packed day because we got sheets, we got forms, we got, of course, Google Classroom, which is one of my all-time favorites, sites, groups, YouTube, and more question and answer sessions.
Oh my goodness. So another fun, information-packed day next week. So
and then you and I will be back, right? We're going to be back.
Right, and I will be here with my cup of joy, and we will be here also as your host. We cannot wait to see you again. Oh, one more thing before we go, though. On our leaderboard, hold on. Oh, it's not showing. Never mind. On our leaderboard, it's taking forever to load. But since it's not showing, I just want to remind everyone that the leaderboard challenges are worth 100 points. You should still be seeing the codes popping up on Twitter for those 10-point little fun things. And once again, the top 5 people on the leaderboard will receive vouchers. So that is so exciting. We can't wait to see you again next week.
And like I said, the beauty of this is recorded. So if you miss anything, you can go back and rewatch. And then also too, again, if you're not on Twitter or don't have a Twitter, that doesn't stop you from looking at the codes on Twitter. So remember, twitter.com/global GEG, and you can go in and take a look at that. And we also have our website as well, to where you can keep up and catch up on everything there. And so this has been fun. I've had fun. I want to see everybody in the chat, raise your hands. Does everybody else have fun today? Oh, there we go.
And Shelly, if you're still here, you are the one to beat. Love it.
That's right. Well, we appreciate everybody for tuning in. We cannot wait to see you next Saturday for day 2 of Level 1 Boot Camp. Dr. Shannon and I will be here to be your cheerleaders and get you excited and help you get prepped for that exam.
Okay.
Now you have your own YouTube channel.